Hello, comrades, and welcome to episode number 233 for the weeks of May 25th, 2024. Don't nobody say what actual day it is, I swear to God. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. With me, I have TJ Sakosio, Jacob Durbin, and Nicholas Christensen as my co-hosts, which is coincidentally the exact same lineup from 2 episodes ago.
Nice.
Wow.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, we also have... No, it's not... It's... Shush, TJ.
Well, no, it's like Supernatural episode where we're always stuck in Tuesday.
It's always... It's always Tuesday?
Always has been.
We also have Jordan Bevan as our guest for the first time in a very long time, or for the first time ever, but in a long time of being a fan. You also go by Cosmos. That's right.
Yes, I do. Hello. This is my first time being on someone else's podcast other than my own, so this is going to be fun.
I invite you to plug your podcast, your channel, everything you do at the end of the show. There's a specific carve-out location for it. I always like to make sure that my incredibly small spotlight can shine on somebody else. Anyway.
It's an honor to be on this channel.
I'm glad. This is already shaping out well. I can already tell this is going to go well. The train will terminate at this station.
I don't think we decided actually, but we're currently at the Elbow Room Bar. In
No, I didn't put that up. We're looking at the Metro, the 6 tracks over the 3 track. Yeah, 6 tracks over 3 tracks, wherever the heck this place is.
We are watching the Chicago and Northwestern Powerhouse live webcam north.
The Elbow Bar,
in Chicago, Illinois. I wish we were watching the Elbow Room Bar webcam.
One of these days, we've got to do the Sloppy Joe's webcam in Key West, Florida. I will. You know what? I'll link the Elbow Room cam in the cargoes for everyone. I invite everyone.
Yeah, shout out to the world famous Elbow Room.
Yeah, I mean these new virtual railfan cam locations are getting out of hand. I mean, first it was God, I can't remember, but
Santa Fe Junction.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe's,
I'm
Key
not
West,
about
Florida.
to bring up the Millennium Force Junction either. Entirely.
Oh, no.
No,
Hold on, Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, TJ, when you posted this, I thought it was going to be like a joke, like there's a train that goes around the ceiling or something, like one of those restaurants. No, it's not. It's just a random bar.
It's just a
bar.
grungy bar in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, hey, look, it's one of the Metro SD70s.
Astounding.
Neat.
What a cat.
They do
I
have
feel
something
like-
up in the 40s.
I can't get off the bar cam. I feel like like that has to do the people that are eating and drinking there know they're on a webcam just on YouTube? Like there were almost 30 people watching, but when I found this link. There are 25 people watching you get drunk all the time.
That's both
There's a
hilarious
joke in
and
there.
my worst nightmare.
Yeah, literally.
There's got to be a joke in there about Big Brother, but
Yeah.
I'm not about to make it.
Yeah,
No.
this is the surveillance state at work.
The real Big Brother is just random guys on the internet.
Random homers on a podcast.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I already know what this episode is going to be called. That's
Literally
another one that's
1984.
immediately. Okay. Anyway, we have to do the serious part, which is not actually that serious. Did anyone die? No, I don't think anyone died.
Good.
Two accidents, 2 incidents. One on the 24th from Union Pacific, 24th of May, derailed in Arkansas across Highway 79. Honestly, it was done by high winds, and the only thing I could think of is if they were intentionally trying to block the highway, they could not have done it better. One of the guys on the train told us high winds blew the engine off the tracks, and the rest was a domino effect. I mean, I feel like the high winds blowing the engine off the track is a bit of a stretch, but, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the ground. Some great pictures out of that one. The other one is from Union Pacific's evil twin, which they're both evil. The BNSF hit a Memphis police cruiser while the officer was chasing after the subject on foot.
What a
this
mess.
isn't the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
There's other times?
Yes,
I mean, of course there's other
specifically
times,
in
but
Memphis.
No. Oh.
Oh God, because
Maybe they should integrate that into the police
Shouldn't
training
happen.
there.
it's
Repeatedly.
yeah. Thankfully, this time no one was in the car.
I'm scrolling through the Terminus podcast episodes. Sir Topham Hatt versus Twitter. Now I'm gonna have to watch.
Yeah, that's
great.
I've thoroughly enjoyed the eclectic names we've given episodes over the years. I feel like having, it's I've never changed my sort of style for the YouTube of the modern era. It's just the same, it's the YouTube of 2012 where it's a series that is defined with a title and has an intro and has numbered episodes and a very regimented title. And I that really, the algorithm does me no favors except for randomly when it decides to. But I feel like I'm living in a different world compared to, the big YouTube guys whose titles are just, three words in all caps, and the thumbnail is them with a surprised face. Looking at you, Gotham
I
Chess.
messed up. And then you've got a bunch of exclamation marks.
BNSF gone wild.
Dang it.
Oh God. BNSF is a cab. They're hitting police cars. Anyway, yeah, which I feel like I broke this when I put out my remaking the White System video. Because that's like the most clickbait I've ever done. And it wasn't even intentional. I was just like, what would be a good title and thumbnail for this? And I threw together the thumbnail in 30 seconds, and I was like, I actually quite like this. Then I realized, oh wow, I'm doing the YouTube thing. Oh shoot, that wasn't on purpose. There's gonna be a follow-up.
The very thing you sought to destroy.
Yeah, there's gonna be a follow-up to that video. I'm almost certain, because I've gone through and I've messed with the White System even more since then. I'm trying to find ways to describe the edge cases. Like if you go on our favorite website, Loco Locomotives, and you go into the Smashing the White System section. I've been looking at things like that and saying, okay, but how would I describe this with a modified White System? It's turned into a real keep me up at night sort of thing. But I spent the last weekend...
Do you have a name for this new system?
I've been calling it just the Horseman system, and it's mostly
the whitest
just...
system?
What'd you say?
The whitest system?
No, God.
Mm.
Careful.
Oh, no.
Careful,
So
you're going to
like
get hit by a BNSF train in Memphis like that.
Yeah.
No. So this system, I'm not aware of it. Does it fix some existing issues, the White System?
Not yet. My first... So, to talk about the video just briefly, I guess I'll cover it just briefly. It started with trying to figure out some stuff for trading cards and talking about weird locomotives that we might have in Railroader. That we might want in Railroader. And a friend of ours said that what would be really cool to have as a banker for Red Marble is one of the not DSPMP, the Durango, Denver and Salt Lake 2660s.
Oh, those. I know a thing or two about them.
Yeah, and she called it like the Super Mogul, and I didn't know what she meant. And so this led into a conversation about, okay, what do you call a 2660? And we did a little bit of digging and eventually decided that if it's a tank engine, you should call it a Java because they were used in Indonesia a lot, and if it's a tender engine, you should call it a Moffat because they were predominantly used on the Moffat line in
Makes
the US.
Sense. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and so that led me down the rabbit hole of, okay, but what if I try to apply designations to all of the weird ones? Or apply names to all of the weird ones, at least all of the weird ones that can be accurately described within the White System. Like, what is an 082? And I settled on, it's a... What'd you say?
A super switcher?
Yeah, that'd be a kind of fun one. What I settled on was a transfer, because there were some that were like some of the only 082s that I can find that were built as 082s were built to be yard transfer engines.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and some of the other ones are just ones that are worth codifying. Like a 244 is a Boston type, which is something that gets thrown around, but people use it interchangeably with Forney, and a Forney is specifically an 044 because that's what the patent says. So, it's like, okay, well, we'll find other names for these things. A 244 is a Boston, a 246 is a Suburban, a 24 a 240 is a Porter, which is one of those that isn't. I was surprised how accepted that is worldwide. And then you get down into the really crazy ones like an 012-2. The only examples I could find of the 012-2 were on a cog railroad in South America, called the General Belgrano Railway. So I called them Belgranos.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what led me down this rabbit hole, and I started thinking about, okay, what other gaps I can fill, and then I started going off the rails and saying, okay, but how do I describe like a duplex so that it's clear that it is not articulated? How do I describe something that has...
Hello?
Jader?
Oh, I died for a second.
Oh, okay. How do I describe something that has, cogwheels, or a kind of unusual articulation, or like a set of idle or unpowered wheels in between the two driven wheel sets? And I've started to concept that. And, I'm doing the XKCD, 14 standards. That's ridiculous. We need one that covers all use cases. There are now 15 standards. I'm just making more chaos, but at least I'm doing what I originally set out to do, which is names for all of the weird wheel arrangements. So when I go to make a trading card of a 260 plus 26262 plus 062 giant thing that the Belgians built, I'll have a name for it.
Call it Frankenstein or monster.
Yeah.
Or thing that should have been scrapped. Which thankfully it was. I can't imagine how excellent that thing performed.
Oh, it performed so well that the Belgians basically abandoned it, and then the Nazis came in and they cut it in half and turned it into two locomotives that were 062 plus 262s.
That is some efficiency there. Right.
It was an atrocious locomotive. It has one of the worst evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volumes I've ever seen. But anyway, I started the section to talk about what we've been doing in the past couple of weeks, and now we're 13 minutes into the pod, and I haven't touched on it at all aside from that chaos, which I invite everyone to watch that hour-and-a-half long video. But over the weekend, I got it all out of my head. I visited Philadelphia. I visited the USS New Jersey while it's in dry dock. I got to walk under the ship, which is completely surreal. But of course, I took the train there both ways, because I live on the eastern seaboard and I'd be crazy to do anything else. Took the regional to New York, got off, spent the day in New York. Took the first train down, got off in New York, spent the day in New York. Hey, Metro Heritage Unit. And visited the Intrepid Museum, Carrier. Very cool. They've got a space shuttle in there.
Sounds pretty cool.
And then I took my dad to ride the subway through the old City Hall loop. Which, if you know the New York City subway, you know that it's super cool. And if you don't know the New York City subway, it's where the final fight at the end of Fantastic Beasts is. Which, that's a reference that I'm sure has come and gone. It was very cool when that movie came out, but no one cares about it anymore, and Harry Potter is passé now. But we did get to go through, and they had the lights on, and you get to see the station. It's very pretty. I'll show everyone a picture of it if you are unfamiliar.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, this used to be the southern terminal of the original subway in Manhattan, the 1904
Oh,
built subway. Now it's right next to another station. It's on this tight turn. The platform isn't very long, so they don't use it, but you can get a tour occasionally, or you can ride the 6 train past its terminal as it uses the station to turn around. And you can
that
look out the
makes
window.
sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's really neat. It's really pretty. I love it. So we did that, and then we got on the train, went to Philly, went to our hotel in the seaport, walked over to the dry dock in the morning, and then went to the Reading terminal for lunch, because when you're in Philly, you don't not do that.
You just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Just gotta do it.
Oh my, like, oh, it's so much food. It's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Um,
Oh wow.
Overwhelming
yes.
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah, it's overwhelming in the same way that like the Shady Maple Smorgasbord is overwhelming. It's just so much, so many different vendors, so many different kinds of food. We got in there, we walked around. I had a turkey dinner sandwich, or a Thanksgiving dinner sandwich. It had turkey, cranberry, mashed potatoes, and stuffing on it.
Wow.
It was delicious. And then we had giant ice cream cones, and then we went to catch our train out. It was a fun little weekend trip. We did a lot in 2 days. It felt like a mini Horseman trip.
That's something. I wish I could say my weekend was that exciting, but a
Did you do anything fun over the weekend?
little bit. Most of the week I've spent has been checking out 2816 when it passed through a little while ago when it passed through Davenport. Saw it
Jealous.
up in person. While it was stored in a yard a little bit south of Davenport, my dad and we both found our way to the yard, and a bunch of foamers were there too, snapping
Nice.
photos. So we stood back and just looked at the thing, because it was a foam fest the day after when it was on display at the the bridge area. It was fun when we did that. But more recently I've been doing stuff with San Juan branch line mostly. That's been a lot of revamping models, getting the stuff scripted, writing scripts as well. A lot of the summer is crunch time, so we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff on that to get it all prepped and have a bunch of content to release over the next year. And yeah, I shan't say any more. I shall spoil the next stories.
Yeah, I mean, going in and sort of doing the San Juan stuff. I've been out of the loop on train series content, despite the fact that it's sort of something that I did for a little while there.
Staple of the
Not
channel.
yeah, not sure if you guys know about it, but no, it's the kind of thing where I was always, it is exciting to do that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, making it can be a little difficult, a little bit of a slog, but the concepting, the setting up, the writing, I always loved writing for the Chronicles.
Oh, absolutely.
So I hope you guys can, I hope you guys get that thing back off the ground and have a lot of fun with it.
That's what we're trying. It's been prep time for about past few months, and we got everything ready just in time.
Beautiful.
In fact, last night we did a live stream, so this is my second public broadcast to the YouTube within 24 hours. It's excellent.
Nice.
I'm sure you will be able to find links to some or all of this stuff down in the cargoes. A link in the description of the podcast. You can also check out our other links in there, such as to our community channel where we post live streams from game nights on the server, and of course our website, theironhorseman.com, where you can buy our custom Steam Locomotive traded cards. Jader, I can't help but notice that you wrote student engineer.
Yeah.
What does
As
that
of
mean?
well, okay, so backstory to this, when I started volunteering at Hiking Valley, God, like 5.5 years ago at this point, it was freshman in college, and I had the goal to at least get my student engineer card, if not maybe some throttle time or something before I graduated.
Nice.
Well, that didn't quite pan out. Life gets in the way. Couldn't be down there enough. to get all the paperwork for that and everything figured out. But as of May 11th, I have my student card now.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
that's something,
great.
all right. Seriously, utmost congratulations there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it has. I don't think it's fully like hit me yet, or if it has. I mean, it will eventually, but it hasn't fully hit me yet.
Jada,
Well,
run
you
the
get behind
thing.
throttle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I did on Sunday. I wish I like took a couple pictures or something, but I didn't. I ran the thing all day.
Yeah, I mean that's worth it. You enjoy the
That's
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What was it you were running?
Let me find an picture of 701. But we had our GP10 out on the one regular train of the day.
Sadly, not number
Very
3, eh?
No, that's we had it out last weekend, but I wasn't there for that.
Bummer. But no, I mean, still, try it. Run the thing. Very cool. I do want to see a picture of this. Is it? You said it's a GP11?
10.
Oh, 10. I was gonna say, what is a GP11?
The seaboard thing.
Basically
Oh,
the
is
same thing.
I'm 90% sure.
I'm always confused about because I'm not a big diesel guy, so I get the numbers and series confused, and I'm like, okay, there was no, like fill in the blank number here. Like, there's no GP6 or something.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
There was an E6.
rebuilds get crazy.
Yeah.
As I like to say, I want to say the GP11 was a Paducah thing.
Oh
Yeah,
God, of
yeah.
course it was.
Yeah, I
The
know the
Paducah
GP10
boys
they
are
were.
at it again.
Exactly.
It was a Paducah thing. I
Well, there you
got
go.
mixed up with another rebuild. That I think the seaboard.
Oh no.
I could find an effing good picture of it.
The locomotive rebuild iceberg is huge.
Oh God, we need that.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
need that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the
yes.
Belgian thing I was just talking about has to be on there somewhere.
No. Don't restore that and run that on the main line.
What counts as a rebuild?
Does sawing the
Oh.
locomotive in half count as a rebuild?
You
Where's
wanna
the K-
know a funny
Where does the
thing?
K37 fall on that list?
Y'all know Bach lumber number the little
The 40. Yeah, nice Bach.
Yeah,
I forget its number, but that thing, from what I've gathered, it was cut up actually to scrap, and a collector, bought all the parts from the scrapyard, and then some years on, after it was torched, they used a few of the components, and it's still considered a rebuild, even though it's 90% new material.
They should have
That
taken
engine. Yeah.
they should have taken the pieces of Bach and scattered it across the world so that no one could possibly reassemble it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Ship of Theseus, but we're not going to talk about that because that's a nightmare that I think would be a nightmare
Just
to talk about.
the exodia of steam locomotives.
If you, there's a weird trend I've noticed with 044s being like very, very majorly rebuilt with new materials. Like over in Wales on the 2-foot, everyone loves the Festiniog.
Yes.
I think their single fairly has like one gauge off of the original.
Well,
Or, like the throttle valve, and they consider it a rebuild.
Well, you rebuild it slowly over a period of several years.
From atoms.
It's just like all water is recycled. Like you're drinking dinosaur pee right now.
Exactly.
But I feel like there are people that would fight you for calling the K-37 a rebuild. I'm frankly on your side, not on that. I don't know.
There are several jokes with the K-37, such as they were green, and
Yeah.
That's not a
They
joke. That's a
were-
way of life.
for green.
that is a way of life.
They were
They
green.
were very green.
Did that joke start in this server, or did
I
it start
don't
somewhere
know.
else?
Yep.
I
thought it did.
I would like to take credit for it,
No,
but I
I-
can't be certain because there are no original thoughts left on the internet. Like
Fair enough.
I thought we did.
I this place is the first place I heard it, and it was a very long time ago. So
Mhm.
maybe, right? But
maybe it dates back to the days of Skype. Who knows?
yeah, well, I feel like it was started by Weibold, right?
Yeah.
Which then means that it probably
Oh.
originated at the CRRM at some point, but just like shortly before it came here. Because I remember Weibold coming and hanging around, and he'd just like tell stories about what him and his buddies at the museum were doing, Mark and Leighton.
Oh, very
And now
cool.
it's like they're the Top Gear of trades.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, 3/4 of an idiot show.
I love those guys.
That's great. Yeah, the intro especially. I love the recreated Sting, Top Gear Sting. It's great.
I wanted to. Oh, okay, cool. We got a photo of 701. Chopped nose,
There it
dude.
is.
Yeah, it's a good engine.
I'm
Why is it
telling
painted
you.
Battleship gray?
Blame the SP Construction Company for that.
Okay, I
Oh yeah.
am wondering why the SP needs to dodge Japanese submarines.
You know what would look really good on that thing? Dazzle paint.
Yes.
I mean,
You know what?
Isn't that just the new Ferromex
Yeah.
scheme?
Oh, you didn't have to do it like that. Great. Yeah, restore it and paint it in this color. No one will be able to tell what the front of your unit is.
I feel like-
not what they could if it was long hood forward, but
I feel like
I
the
don't know.
problem. This is going to be the same
Oh,
problem
yeah.
as the camo unit that the Union Pacific had. The the Desert Storm unit.
Desert Storm.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to
Yeah.
have it lead trains because it was camouflaged.
Oh, great. Is that thing still around, or was it torched?
If it's still around, it is not in that paint scheme.
Obviously.
Oh, that would look sweet.
I know Rail Giants has a UPS D40, but
Yeah,
You know.
Jader, I know what you guys need to do with 701. Actually, no, it's
Yeah,
the opposite.
well-
it's like
well,
safety
funny-
stripes over the whole locomotive.
oh,
Well, funny aside, this is a concept or something from Intermountain
Oh,
from their latest run of GP10s. They're making SP Construction ones because they had, I don't know how many. They had multiple.
Didn't we see that?
they
at
had
the
enough of
meet?
them.
Yeah, we did. But here's where it gets annoying.
Are those XSP?
Well, technically,
Techno,
it's
yeah.
SP Construction.
Oh,
Uh,
SP construction.
Yeah, well, for a while, a couple of the seat cushions still had the SP like construction logo on them, but
Nice.
they got new seats, I think, 2
Oh.
years ago.
Oh,
They're really nice now, though.
Worth
Comfy
it.
seats.
plus
Yes.
one style
Um,
points, comfy seats.
Yeah, but it's annoying because Intermountain's making, in the right paint scheme and everything, but with the wrong headlight. Otherwise, it's pretty much accurate.
Well, this sounds like a job for the best custom locomotive person I know. You.
Oh, my GP10 is going to be 701 eventually.
Good, yes,
I
excellent.
just
Oh, fair
I need
enough.
I need to gather parts for it, but I'm going to do it.
Thinking like brass detail parts, cal scale, stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
good. You are a man of quality.
Yes.
If we're talking not quality in model trains, then
Uh-oh.
oh god, who are those people that make the really crappy locomotive kits, arbor models? Yeah, I wouldn't touch one of those castings with a 20-foot pole.
So, before
I
we
don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
but-
before we go down the rabbit hole on the models too much, I wanted to pull it back because we're going to run out of time in this section, but we have one more important thing to talk about that is in Colorado. And I wanted to jump to it by saying, Jader, you got to run the thing, and there's one thing that I want to run more than anything else in the world, and TJ and I get to take a ride on it.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, so I'm going to retrace our steps for the past couple episodes and talk about the WWF again.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you should really be apologizing for that. Oh no, what a shame.
Yeah, so
That's what the people
Ellis and I went up about 2 times in the past couple months to see the Model T rail car. It hasn't been run in a few years at least, since before COVID, and it's undergone a lot of work. and they decided to, give something a try and run a few Model T railcar trips on Sundays to Trout Brook and back.
Hmm.
We took one of the first trips, and it was really fun. I brought my film camera along. You can see some photos there.
Yeah, these are great
Um,
shots. I mean, for the record, if anyone is asking which Ford is best Ford, it's this one.
yeah. Um, it was fun. It was really cool. It was a very different way to ride the WWF. Usually you're, at least somewhat secure in like a open air car or a coach, or on a flat car or something. But this Model T, there's no walls or anything, so you're just kind of hanging out there.
Saves weight.
Yeah, you're very
Yeah.
close to the rail. You have the full windshield in front of you, which, for the record, the roof is so low that you have to duck. Like, I had to duck to see out the front of the thing, and I was sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah, 2-foot's very small.
It is
I
very
understand the
small.
obvious, but I'd love to get up there and see some of that stuff in person.
Oh yeah, you're totally welcome to. If you let me know that you think you could come to the neighborhood, we can arrange something.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Any excuse to go to the WWF is a good excuse to me, and that's why TJ and I went twice in the span of 2 weeks.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and that's why we went up again. And this time we donated our hard labor for free.
Yes.
We went out to Humeston Brook and replaced a bunch of ties. Normal track crew stuff, but there was a lot of people this time. There's probably about 20 people working out there, and it was kind of chaotic.
It was a little chaotic. It was organized chaos though. It was nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so we replaced some ties, left some rocks under the rail between the ties and the rail.
Yeah. Oops.
So later in the day, we split up, and me and two other guys went back to where we were working before at Humeston Brook and took out all the rocks and tamped the track and all the stuff that you do to get it ready to run. While Ellis and his group tried to replace ties at the Sheepscot Depot site that they're redoing right now.
Yeah, those 30-year-old ties that are basically just like wood chips embedded in the ground. It was so like the ties, they looked like they had exploded. So I left that and went to the business meeting instead.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so after we finished working out at Humston Brook, we took the tamper back and met everybody at Sheepscot. Ellis got back soon after from the meeting, discussing all the business, and then we all got together for an evening train ride behind number 9 to go have some pizza at Alna Center for our hard work.
Yep, it was on May 4th. They called it tie fighting.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was slightly Star Wars themed.
A couple people
That's
brought
fun.
lightsabers.
Yeah, there were some masks as well.
The most dangerous MOW crew that side of Mississippi.
I mean, it's
Um,
the best thing about it. I know I harp on it every time, but the best thing about doing track work or any work at the WWF is that there's like at least a dozen people between the ages of 14 and 30, and everyone is like in the same zeitgeist. Like, not to bring up Heist a second time, but like everyone's making the same jokes. Everyone's watched all of that content.
Of course. Yeah.
It's great to do this stuff and not feel like you're just surrounded by people that are twice or 3 times your age.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree. Where I volunteer, there's a lot of older volunteers.
Same.
Because it's experience, right? You want people with a lot of experience to lead big projects like that. So it makes sense, the kind of people that, I work with, at least, at RRHMA. It's a great group, though, and I'm doing my best to learn, because keeping an open mind is the best thing you can do in the world of preservation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
I've seen
it's
way
nice
too
to have some
Oh, yeah.
it's nice to have some people that you're more on the level with, and it's nice to have a culture where the old guys don't drive all the young guys away by being curmudgeons.
Oh yeah, none of the guys there are curmudgeons. They're experienced, but they're good guys. Like they're great at what they do, and it's an honor to be part of the team.
Anyway,
Yeah.
TJ, you've got this second block of photos, unless you had more to talk about with the WWF.
Yeah, not really. I took more film photos at the WWF with the Steam stuff, and then the last batch is just like random stuff that I've seen over the past couple months in Boston on my commute. Got a Northeast Regional with 2 engines on it. They've been doing that lately. I don't know why. I walked through the most liminal space in the MBTA. The downtown crossing to Park Street connector, as you can see.
Yeah, this
Very
location
creepy.
is like a cryptid to me. Like, I knew it was there, and I think I've walked through it once, but
Yeah, yeah, it's an experience. It's stinky too.
well,
Um,
yeah.
There's a short video of the Orange Line from when the Red Line was shut down. I had to detour, and they've got all the new train sets on there now. They don't have any. They don't even have any old ones running actually.
That's
And then
thank God.
my precarious Green Line crossing that I had to make during the Red Line shutdown to cross from the Park Street connector to the Red Line that was accessible.
Yeah.
The next picture.
Plywood, right?
No, it's like rubberized ground. It's the whole Park
No.
Street station is like an underground. It's just like an underground.
Well, there is a piece
park.
of plywood right there. Yeah.
Oh, wait, where? Oh, am I not seeing
In the bottom left.
on the bottom? Oh, you know what? I can't see the bottom of the picture. Oh, there it is. MBTA.
Yeah. You know what? It's
Mhm.
probably. I don't know if it's really bolted in there. It might be like an access panel or something.
Blush.
But yeah, then one time on the way to South Station, I saw a Jeep and a F40 coupled together. You don't normally see that on the South Side.
The
And
Jeeps on
then
the
to
south side are
was
kind of
just hanging
rare.
out. Yeah, yeah, Jeeps on the South Side are rare. I saw a picture of one online at Providence like the other week, but I think they only bring them down here on like off peak.
Also, the 2 engines on the northbound regionals, I think that one came in really late, so that may have been an engine failure, but I think they're having to shuffle equipment around because of the new patterns with the 4 extra trips between New York City and Washington that they are not turning the chairs around for, which, man, did I ride a lot of my Amtrak trip this past weekend backwards. But
Damn.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was surprised. Like, it doesn't bother me too much, maybe from just riding too much MBTA. I was, I sort of asked my dad, like, "Hey, are you okay going in reverse?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure, whatever." It was good because, boy, those trains were packed. Any more trains that they can squeeze onto the Northeast Corridor is a good thing. So
Yeah, I agree.
I will talk about Amtrak more later. We've got our discussion topics lined up, but I think that's everything except for the fact that we're going to Colorado in a little while. We're going to
Colorado next week.
just a week away. Yeah.
Can you believe it?
And
I'm so excited by this information.
let's see. I mean, rundown. Let me just run down really quick. You know what? I'll do that during maintenance away. I'll do it during maintenance away at the end of the show because we got to move on to the next section here, which is someone, anyone.
There you go.
I should have
RIP.
RIP headphone users. Listen, if you've watched this episode, if you've watched this podcast for the last 10 years, you should know what's coming by now.
Well, we just had
yeah.
we had a few new viewers and they're all gone now.
A few? Damn.
That's
Anyway.
generous.
Yeah. We had a few viewers to begin with. Okay. No, we have, actually, Cosmos, do you want to introduce this one? Because this is apparently a grudge match for you.
Oh, it's sort of a joke grudge match, but it's between me and a friend of mine, KS1 Productions. Braden, if you're watching, this one's for you. For a couple, I guess it's a little bit more than a couple of years. We've had this joke where it's like, oh, which engine is the better one? You know, and as a joke, right? U.S. Plywood number 11, Cosmos number 11, or Southern 630. So pitting a Baldwin logging mallet against a KS1, definitely a good idea.
I really have no idea how this is going to go. Are you going to represent Cosmos Timber 11?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
Do you know how to play the game?
I have a vague idea, but you might have to guide me through it.
That's fine. Who wants to do Southern 630?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
I
find.
was about to say Jader. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, so can I have photos of both in the chat, please?
Of course.
Like, I know what 630 looks like, sort of. I don't know what Cosmos Timber 11 looks like. I can guess, because it's a logging 2662.
Well,
It's goofy.
the thing about logging 2662s is that they were all unique. Basically.
It's also, yeah, there could be a whole iceberg video.
They're,
Yeah.
I forgot. I will post its as delivered, well, closest to as delivered condition first, and then the rebuild, just to give an idea of what this sort of operation can do to an engine.
Okay.
Started out as a square side tank, 2662,
Oh.
and then it ended its career looking like that.
Hey, Martin E. Hansen collection. And it's career
Martin
looking like...
Hansen's a great, yeah.
I
uploads great
I
stuff.
appreciate Martin Hansen. I wish he would have answered my email about using his photo. Oh, it has a sausage.
It does have a sausage tender.
Mark.
Sausage.
This is why I need a train orders account for just like an Iron Horseman train orders account.
The communal account.
Exactly. So we need one for that and Trains Mag.
Yeah.
And if you want logging mallet photos, loggingmallets.railfund.net. That's your best bet.
Oh yeah.
That's where I get all my
Warren
photos
Wing.
from.
So
Yeah.
are you going to? I'm not sure what the stats represent. And I assume they're as built.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
who knows? It's fine.
What class?
Well,
is this
if you
thing?
don't have a tender fuel, well, actually,
No, I mean it should be. Hold on. You
It
know what?
does have tender water capacity and fuel capacity because
Well,
it's a tanker.
Okay,
Yeah.
no. Your overall wheelbase is the same as your engine wheelbase, so it's the tank engine version. So you'll be
Sam.
using it in tank engine form.
Okay.
Jader,
Well, that's a little bit interesting because it says here that the tender water capacity is listed as the tender thing.
oh boy, oh great. All right,
So,
well we have an amalgam.
We have an amalgam here
Yeah.
because the weird thing about number 11 is that it has its bunker from being a tank engine where it keeps oil, and it
Yeah.
has a water car behind it instead of side tanks.
Oh no,
So-
your tender water capacity, as listed on the in the list of stats is the side tank value. It's
Okay, fair
yeah,
enough.
no, I'm because the tender is 8,000 gallons and this is not that.
Then it's as delivered. Spring.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
it's
fine.
as delivered, which is fine, which is good. At least everything's consistent. God, this thing is weird. Okay, I'm gonna stop
Yes,
looking at your
it is a
stats.
very weird engine.
Jader, are you all set? Were you trying to figure out which class it is?
Yeah, and I don't know if Steam Locomotive is wrong here or Wikipedia is
It
wrong.
should be a
Yeah.
KS1.
What did
Yeah,
they tell you in
there-
school,
there is
Jader? Don't trust Wikipedia.
I know.
God, there are
There are-
so many classes. Oh my goodness.
There are-
Um,
Yeah.
all I can say
prob-
is that logging mallets typically didn't have classes because they were one-offs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's
There
just called
are-
a class 7 because
Oh.
it was built as Austrander 7.
Oh, don't worry,
this
I
doesn't
know.
See, this
Yeah,
doesn't make sense because there's two KS1s on here.
there's Alco and
Okay.
Baldwin, right? I believe 630 is an Alco build, so I'd look at that spec.
But
Maybe it's
then
the
the build date-
superheated and
The build date
non-
doesn't match.
Oh god.
Weird.
Oh god. Oh
Whoa,
no, here we go.
630 was- oh.
Do we want to just pick? I mean, I know 630 is cool, but do we just want to pick a different 280?
No,
Sure.
but
we
it's
could
the
take-
grudge match. Hold on, what is?
Well, it is a grudge match. Maybe we should try and go the
You know,
distance to figure it
it's
out.
possible that
Well, yeah.
it's possible that. Oh, it's just listed as K.
Oh, it's listed as
Oh.
K.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's
It's
Oh,
listed
fine.
as
okay.
K. Okay, which makes sense, and it doesn't have. Okay, but yeah. So they lumped the two builders into one class here. K with that number of tubes. The build date.
Is it? Oh wait.
It's in the row above. It's in the row above the KS ones. So it's hold on, Jader. Let me just send you the ID so you can find it.
Okay.
Maybe we should have a cut here. Like,
Nope.
skip past
Nope,
all. No.
nope.
No.
The
No.
audience
We're
is
gonna
the
keep all
audience is
this.
always all in
Great.
on the chaos.
Okay.
They need to
great.
know how much I suffer.
Well,
Okay,
I did pick
I'm
like
looking
the
at the right.
two
I'm
most
okay. I'm looking at the
specific
right one
engines
now.
ever.
Okay.
So
I
So we're doing as built versions, right?
Sure.
well, you can
Yeah,
use
that's fair.
whichever. Which I can't help but notice that the valve gear is different.
Yeah.
Did this thing get
Uh,
new valve gear?
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
God,
pretty
is there
sure it
a
had
picture
Southern
of
its
it?
whole life, but I could be
Like it
that's
has
Southern.
built.
Oh, that is Southern, isn't it?
It is Southern.
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh,
It has
God.
Southern valve gear. So we're comparing a Baldwin 2662 with indirect and direct on both of its driver sets with a Alco 280 with Southern valve gear. Lord
This is
help
gonna
us
be
all.
This- Yeah. All right. Well,
This is gonna be fun.
do what you can. I'm going to assume that the K437 tubes is the correct one because it includes it has the number series in which 630 exists. But correct might be a little bit. It's as correct as we can get. So
Yeah.
I apologize to
There's
to,
room for
to
error.
KS1 for getting things wrong. If I ever do this as a trading card, it means we're gonna have to do some digging to get the numbers right. But that's life with Steam Locomotive. It's a very useful website. It's got a lot of data on it, and not all of that data is correct, sadly. But that's why
Oh,
you
yeah.
can make a comment on every single thing. If you look at right next to the Locobase ID, you can submit a comment about this locomotive class.
Very helpful.
Always helps to double check. Anyway, you
All
can
right.
also download
So-
a blank stat sheet to help get everything straight from the ironhorseman.com in the document center. Anyway,
Cool.
all right.
So,
Who's
what's
gonna
the
go?
process?
Yeah. So the process right now is we pick who's gonna go first. That person calls a stat. The other person reads out their number first, and then the calling contestant gives their number, and the winner gets a point and gets to call next. So
All right. I think I'll let Jay Pullman go first.
okay, Jader, you've been given the initiative. What is your first stat call?
Number in class.
Oh, that's just mean.
Yeah,
Number and class. It is number 7.
No,
and it is
Number in
oh,
class, as in how many
One.
of there are. Yeah, there you go.
singular 1.
128.
Oh
Oh
God.
boy. Yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder what Jader's going to call next.
Locobase ID.
Oh, that's not what I expected. Okay.
Okay.
4058.
Shit.
Jader.
6113.
Jader!
I didn't know that.
Should have taken the double dip.
4058.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Cosmos gets a
Boy.
point. It's 1-1. Your turn to pick.
I want to keep the game interesting.
Oh, year.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay. 1903.
1926.
Okay.
nice.
Oh.
Another point for Cosmos. 2-1. You go again.
Wait on drivers. I think that it
Um,
says here. Oh, you gotta call your first. Sorry.
You're good. 176,750 pounds.
Mine is 210,000, then a slash sign that says 95.
Oh, that's kilograms. Yeah.
So I got
just worry about
95,255. Okay, so I've lighter on my drivers.
No. You read. Hold on. The number on the left is pounds.
Oh, 210,000.
Yeah, so you
That's
are
the
not
estimate.
lighter on your drivers.
200. No, I got the wrong one. I was looking at axle loading. Weight on drivers is what I called, right?
Yes, weight on drivers.
Okay, then it is 210,000.
Okay, all right. And in which case Jader wins on account of being lighter.
Your
Makes
tank
sense.
engine.
Exactly.
In fairness, 630 is a chunky consolidation. I wasn't sure how that was going to go.
Mhm. This is
Jader?
a bigger engine.
Oh, well.
Listen, we've had some locomotives that are like, you look at them and you go, oh, that's like a medium-sized locomotive, and then you look at the stats and the numbers are like pointing two middle fingers at God.
Yeah.
Number built.
There it is.
Oh, what? Wait. Oh, number built.
Yeah.
Does that count all? Like, no, it just counts the single one, so it'd just be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in total
128.
there were like, I don't know how many Baldwin logging Malays there were in total.
Many.
But there were
Yes.
they were each unique, which is interesting.
They were each their own little snowflake.
Yeah, exactly. Each customized to hell and back by the
Yeah, and
company.
I hate.
This is my logging mallet. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
I kind of
Yeah.
wish I'd done this thing instead of the potlatch engine because it's such a weird dude. The potlatch 2662 was another Baldwin logging mallet, but its weird thing is that it was built as a coal burner.
I mean,
Oh.
we could have done Grandpa.
I mean, let's be honest.
AKA,
Go on.
AKA Boot Kelly #2, which was the first Baldwin logging mallet.
Oh yeah, that one. Didn't that have slide valves?
Yeah, I think it did.
So many
Oh,
logging engines
weird.
had slide valves.
Yeah.
Oh, except most of the modern Malays didn't.
Well,
Like everything
yeah.
passed you into ones.
We
Yeah,
could have
just-
made an entire batch of just logging 2662s.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Anyway, all right, Jader, it's 3-2. You go again.
That sounds like a good idea for a future trading card batch, Ellis.
Stop.
No. No, I don't think I will. No. Engine weight.
Engine weight.
Oh.
Okay.
Engine weight. Let's see here. 245,500 pounds.
199,875 pounds.
Wins the weight battle once again. It's 4-2. Jader.
Let's see. Can't do tender weight. You don't have one. Can't do that. I can't call. Yeah, I can't call total engine and tender weight.
Well, there is a value for that.
You could.
Okay, yeah, total engine tender weight.
245,500. It's the same as the
There it
engine
is.
weight. So,
I'm an idiot.
Oof.
That's
Well, wait. No, wait. No. What if I just add up my two engine weights? Or, I mean, my weight on drivers and my engine weight.
What? Wait. Hold on. What? Why?
Wait on
do you not
this.
have that number?
No, I have it.
is it a number that'd make you lose?
Hold on. Let me. Jader, you're making me you're making me scroll all the way down this gigantic list of consolidations again. Hold on. I'm still scrolling. Still scrolling. Oh, there's an engine G in here. Still scrolling. Still scrolling. Oh my god.
You're welcome.
Who owned these? I hate them.
Was
Different
Southern.
one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Everyone
Already
owns one.
covered then. The Southern got a wheel arrangement named after them, the 2680. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
They
Were the
I thought these
first.
were Great Northern.
The Alabama Great
Great
Southern was the
Northern.
first person to buy one, and then the Great Northern bought a bunch, and then Baldwin made them as a conversion kit for
Wacky.
consolidations, which is absurd.
I always knew them as Kit Malays.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna call them a
yeah.
kit. No,
That's
you
a good
have
name for
Jader. You have a total engine and tender weight. Why did you make me scroll down here?
My brain short circuited.
Fair enough.
What is the number?
319,875.
That's more
Oh.
than the tank engine.
That's more than the tank engine. So does that mean I win that?
Yes, you do win that. All right, what is your
Oh,
stat
yay.
goal?
Keeping
My
the
next
game
one.
interesting.
Ooh, minimum weight of rail.
Yeah.
My minimum weight of rail. I guess I could say it first if you guys want.
No, hold on.
Uh,
Let Jada go first. Let's go in order.
Yeah.
Minimum weight of rail, Jader.
74.
58 pounds.
58 pounds.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, 4 to 4.
Ooh, I can be mean.
Go on.
Low pressure
mean.
cylinders.
Oh god damn it. Jader, how are those low pressure cylinders looking?
I don't have those.
Ain't got none. All right, how big are your low pressure cylinders, Cosmos?
28 by 24.
Those are really small for low pressure cylinders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a logging engine.
Yeah, but still. Anyway, maybe I've just been staring at the Virginian AE for too long. All right,
Yeah,
Cosmos,
I
you
do
go
like
again.
that. I get to go again. Good gravy. This is one I'm going to say, engine wheelbase.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
24.29 feet.
37.75. I don't know if short or long.
Yeah,
one's there,
shorter
so-
is better.
Okay, fair enough. You can have that.
All right, yeah, Jader takes that. It's 5 to 5.
Okay. Driver wheelbase.
16. It doesn't. It just says 16
Hold on,
feet.
hold on, stop. Because you are a Malay, we do not do driver wheelbase. We do rigid wheelbase. Which so yours is what 16 feet for a driver wheelbase?
Yes.
Cut
so it
that.
adds
Cut that in
16.
half.
8.
8 feet,
8
Jader.
feet.
16 feet, and I'm not a Malay.
Hold on, you both have 16 feet of driver wheelbase. That's hilarious. Well,
Yeah, you see why they're sort of matched?
All right.
You know what?
Well, you still win that, Cosmos, because you're articulated, so you get to cut yours in half.
I get to cut mine in half.
yeah.
Yippee.
6 to
Excellent.
5.
What's one that I can do really? Oh. Robert Lemensena, I don't know, power computation.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay,
Ba-ba-da.
we need like the daily double slide to come up. No, Robert Lewison's power computation. Okay, Jader.
Uh, 1,064.
What would you say?
1,000.
You cut up.
1,674.
1,674?
10,000.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
10,000.
There you go.
I've got half that.
Oops.
I got 5,240.
Well, it is now 6 to 6.
I'm surprised how even this is getting.
Yeah, this isn't really settling the arguments, huh?
No.
Are you superheated?
There is
No.
superheating surface here, yes.
Oh, okay.
I-
Wait.
Wait a minute.
I should have told you that you did not have to answer that question.
Okay, I'm gonna skip that one then.
Are you not
Yes.
super?
Not as built.
Oh,
Whip.
interesting. Okay.
Hmm. Firebox area.
Oh, well, that's gonna mean I lose because it's a keyhole firebox, but let's see here. Firebox area, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
128 square feet. What's yours?
143 square feet.
Figured as much. You can have that.
All right, it's 7 to 6. Yeah, you know what we'll have to do? We'll have to go and collect all the stats for Southern 630 as is, like as it is now, and see. Oh yeah, no. So this sucker was originally built with Stevenson. God damn,
Oh, that makes sense. It's ancient.
it is.
Dang.
Anyway, Jader, carry on.
Okay. Great area.
Great area. Let's see. 26.20 square feet.
53.37 square
That's
feet.
No
That's double the
contest.
great
Yeah.
area. Yeah, that makes sense.
8
If
to
it's
6.
firebox stuff, you're basically guaranteed to win.
6
Yes.
more points until we can go to style points.
Fair enough.
Can, but don't have to. Jader?
Evaporative heating surface.
1,654 square feet.
3,517 square
Oh
feet.
my
Another double.
word.
Yeah,
That's
that is a big firebox.
that
compared
is
to
a
the
lot of
small one.
that's a lot of boiler compared to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Jader.
That's landline.
We'll skip that one because I'm not superheated. Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume.
Evaporative heating surface divided by.
Yeah, it is at the bottom of that section. It's evaporative heating surface / cylinder volume.
234.09.
266.44.
What? No way. The simple engine lost to. The simple engine won against the compound engine. That's not fair. That's
it
wild.
makes a little bit of sense because it has two sets of cylinders, right? The cylinder volume is there.
No,
and then
but
you have
the
two sets.
cylinder volume only counts the high pressure cylinders because it uses that steam again.
Oh, that does
So
make sense.
you just have very little evaporative heating surface, which is very sad.
It
all
does make good use of it, though. It's an oil burner. Always has been, so...
Well, it's 10-6, Jader.
Driver diameter.
Ooh.
Oh, it's smaller here than 44 inches.
56.
56. 11-6.
Boiler pressure.
200.
200.
Oh.
Tie.
Nut.
A tie.
Nice.
The initiative changes hands. Cosmos, it's now your turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yes,
okay.
it is. It's 11 to
there
6.
was one I was going to ask. Let's see. Oh, superheating surface.
I don't have that.
Silence.
Fat goose egg.
358 square feet.
It's better than nothing. Alright, 7 to 11. Cosmos?
I'm just gonna move away from the heating ability section. Yours is as built, isn't it?
Yeah, you both are fighting as built.
Tractive effort
Oh.
in pounds per square inch.
No.
Well, pounds. Just pounds.
Just pounds.
Yeah, not per square inch, yeah. I'm sorry. I read that wrong.
Pounds per rail.
Fine.
Yeah, you're tractive effort.
44,079 pounds.
Oh, you'd win that by 2,000 pounds. It's yours.
Yeah.
What is your number?
Mine is 42,517.
That's outrageously close for how different these locomotives are.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. This is just built for a lot lighter track.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, it's 12 to 7. 1 point to style points being available. Jader?
What's your factor of adhesion?
Ooh.
Factor of adhesion. I said 4.94.
That's not great. Mine is 4.01.
Wow.
So yours
Wow,
is better.
that's
then,
very
yeah.
good. Yeah, closer to 4 is better. 4.01 is
Closer to 4 better.
outstanding.
Yeah, they've got it all there. That makes sense.
Holy crap.
It all comes back to 4.
Mm. Yeah,
All right,
I mean,
it's,
it makes sense. A lot of the weight's put on the pilot and trailing truck there to distribute it.
All right, it is 13 to 7. Do you want to keep calling or go to style points, Jader? Or judge's choice, I suppose, goes first.
Let's do judge's choice.
Okay, we're jumping off of stats then at 13 to 7. Ooh, judge's choice. I want power MT.
Oh,
Okay.
power MT.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmos, I'll let you go first.
297.94.
Oh my god, that's outrageously bad. Jader?
298.61.
Are you serious?
By a single number.
Are you serious?
What? Wait. What was yours?
297.94, and yours is 298 point something.
By less than 1.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
I'm okay with this.
I think you can see why the debate lasted for so
Yeah,
long.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I mean, it's still 14 to 7, but I understand why the debate
Yeah.
lasted. Okay. To my other judges, what do you want to hear?
Valgear.
Oh God,
Wall shirts.
Stevenson.
Stevenson doesn't win. Wallshirts takes the point.
I'll take that.
8-14. Milky.
Builder.
Baldwin.
Uh,
Yours is Alco.
Alco Richmond, I think, right?
several.
Several.
No, stop
No,
with the
no,
several.
No.
722 is a Baldwin, but 630 is an Alco. So
Jader, can I have your Alcos?
No.
Well, 9-14. We're going into style points here. So Cosmos, because you are trailing, I will ask you: is there something that your locomotive has? And we're going in as-built condition, so I know we don't have I know we don't have an as-built picture of 630 on hand.
we have a
but-
very early photo of it somewhere, but so how does style points work?
Style point is something like a feature or a thing in your history, something like that.
Oh,
Something that
I've got some.
that isn't represented in the statistics that you have
well,
that your opponent does not.
If we're talking as built, then Ostrander Lumber and Timber Company #7, that was a rare type of Baldwin logging Mallet because it was built with split square side tanks. Those things were only found on, I think, a couple Baldwin logging Mallets,
Okay.
and most of them were either split saddle tanks or just saddle tanks. But a bit of the tanks still do remain because you might get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
If you see the sign under the running board, you know, the one that says U.S. Plywood Corp Wash, that is the bottom half of the tank, which they filled with rails to weigh it down after they roofed the tanks.
Oh, I've never,
Nice.
I've heard this one before.
Yeah, it's something the logging railroad did, which worked well enough for it to keep in service.
I
Instead of
will.
filling with concrete, you fill it with rails. So
I will grant you that that's neat. I don't think it rises to the level of style point, however. That said,
Well, it was built with Baldwin green olive when it was delivered.
there you go.
Aluminum on it.
They were
Oh, yeah.
green. That's
were
a style
green. It was-
point.
Yeah, that's a style point. Hang on. I can get you a picture of the paint scheme when it was new.
Oh.
Well, you're down by
okay.
4. If there's other stuff that you've got an idea of that might be valid as a style point.
Oh, yeah, let me get the photo of it as built for you guys. This is what it looked like when it was turned out of Baldwin, and it was very green. Like, the frame was green, the cylinders were green,
Yeah.
the lining was aluminum.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, Baldwin.
Yep. Well, you definitely get a point
Nice.
for they were green.
Completely green. Can I talk about its later condition and a style point for it?
We usually limit it to in a given condition.
Okay.
The one exception is if it did something later in life, like if it ran excursions or something like that.
Oh, it did run excursions, actually.
It did.
For a short period under the ownership of the Snoqualmie Museum, the
Yeah,
NRHS.
the Northwest Railway Museum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Northwest Railway Museum. It ran excursions, and I think it did it for a little under a decade, because it was
I think it
sidelined with
did it-
some issues with
I
cylinders.
think 1990 was the last time they used it.
Yeah, and it was cosmetically restored to its late-ish condition under U.S. Plywood Corporation. It doesn't have the cool spark arrestor hat, which I love the hat. It sits out of the loading gauge, and it's like a solid 3 foot taller than a 40-foot boxcar. I think I've got a photo of it somewhere.
What's crazy to me is the as-built condition does not have a spark arrestor.
Yeah, it did not have a spark arrestor because it was an oil burner. They didn't think
Saves
that it would
weight.
put out too many sparks back in the day, but
I'm trying to look at stuff that you might have to go as style points, and I can't pick out anything. Well, I can pick out one thing.
I also see one thing that's particularly helpful on your pirate.
white walls.
Yeah,
guess
White Walls is a
Let's
good
do
one.
White walls.
White
White
Walls
walls
is
is
a
a
good one.
good one.
Because you don't get the excursion
Painted-
point, because 630 also has excursion service
Oh
under its
yeah.
belt.
So, could I say painted rods are one? Because that's something that's not common.
I'm not gonna give 3 points for paint. I'll give you the point for they
Fair
were
enough.
green and the one for the white walls.
That's true.
And
Wait,
the
is this the right class?
pinstriping it sort of goes along with that.
No, it's not.
Jader, is there anything that you would like to bring up as a style point while we're here?
Well,
I'll see if I can get a photo of an early KS for you.
yeah, I can't find one, but I don't know much about the Southern Railway. Oh wait, can I get a point for it being like it ran excursions and still does, but then can I get a point for when it was reacquired by the Southern just to run excursions?
As a Southern Steam program engine.
Yeah.
Oh, I remembered something about number 11 that might be of interest, if you want. It was restored on a university campus and steamed out of the campus and ran by steam to Snoqualmie.
Okay, those
On
are
the
both
end.
very cool. I'm going to say they cancel each other out, and we'll move on from there. Milky, what was the thing that you were looking at?
Polling pockets, but
Yeah,
you both have them.
Yeah, they both have polling pockets. There is
I
something.
have 2 sets of polling pockets.
There is
one
something.
on the front and one on the back.
Oh God. Oh, does 630 not have polling pockets on the back of its tender?
Well, no, actually, if you think about it, there is a total of 4 sets of polling pockets on number 11 because the tank car has polling pockets.
That's.
It's stupid, but
I'm not giving because we don't have the tank car in this example.
Fair enough.
What you do have though is a headlight that faces backwards.
Oh yeah, the reversing head.
Yeah.
With the number boards on it. That is something that they shifted to the tender eventually, but as built, it was there, a reversing headlight.
What were you saying, Jader?
I can't find an as-built picture of this. Cosmos, do you have one?
I know I've seen some. I will try and find one for you, but I've got drawings of one that's early.
Does
It gives you a
630
general-
does 630 as it is now have a backup headlight?
Does it?
Probably.
I don't think it does it. Well, it might have like a little spotlight on the back of the
Oh wait,
bumper.
yes it does. Yes it does.
Oh,
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, I am not sure if we can scrounge up any more.
Oh, it wasn't built with one. If we're going by
Oh,
as built.
okay.
Yeah, like
Wasn't
if you
built
look
with
at the
one.
drawing, it didn't have it. So
It
no
does.
backup
I don't
headlight.
see it in the drawing. That's true.
Dang.
That must have been a later.
The only points I can see off the top of my head are things that help Jader, and I don't want to help Jader. More Jader's in the lead.
Wow.
You're already in the lead.
Would you?
Although I think
I'm taking that personally.
I'm gonna BS it, but would trailing trucks be a style point?
no, I'm not. Having a trailing truck is not a style point. Patrick,
It's
mayonnaise
a
is not an
comfort point.
instrument.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Actually, no. I've found 2 more things for you, Cosmos, to tie it up
Oh.
because we're gonna keep the
good,
fight
yeah.
going. You've got more air compressing capacity. You have 2.
Oh, I do have
cross-
2 dual
Yes.
air compressors on either side of the smoke box. Yes.
You also have a split knuckle.
Yeah, the split knuckles there, so that you could pull really crappy logging cars. It kept that split knuckle till the end of its service career.
For the
still
real
has it.
cursed logging shenanigans.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure it had a tall knuckle on the front too, like one that would stretch up a bit to allow for leeway in the rough track that it traversed.
Jader, I can see one thing that can get you a point.
What is that? I don't see it.
It's on the front of your cab.
Oh, I have a door.
You got doors.
Yeah.
Oh, number 7 does. I think it has doors. Let me check.
It doesn't look like you
Oh,
have
it does.
doors.
Yeah, number
you
7
do?
does have doors. Right behind
What?
the tank. It's there.
Oh,
Look,
Yeah.
there it is.
I see it.
No,
And
I don't.
It has little windows. Yeah, that's
Oh,
it right there.
is
It's
that
an
a
outline.
door? I
Yeah,
guess that's
that
a
is a
door.
door with an access to the tank. Yeah.
Okay, it looked like a
It's a very
window. All right, never mind. You
nice
both have
door.
doors.
Yeah.
Sam.
I remember
I tried.
you're able to walk out onto the running board. But yeah, that does cancel each other out, I reckon.
I wanted to leave this as not a tie, but I don't know what else to do now.
Is it a tie now?
It's 14-14.
Are you kidding me?
I feel like there could have been more stats called. I feel like a rematch.
I found one to break
what
it.
is it?
What?
The switching pilot.
Oh, the switching pilot's a good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, switching pilot. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have footboards, unless you're talking about 630, which was built with a cow catcher, like a proper wooden pilot.
Yeah, I mean, as far like,
I don't know if 630 was built with footboards or not, like on either side of the wooden pilot.
uh, I don't know. But either way, I'm gonna give it the switching pilot. But I don't think this. Like, I feel like 630 should have been
We could just...
should have punished 11 on the stats a little more.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I was thinking.
That said, if I'm gonna call it here, and unless anyone can pull up something immediately, I'm gonna call it here. That means Cosmos Timber 11 will win.
By a single point. um,
Do we get a paint point for the stripe?
I gave
Oh,
I gave a
right.
couple paint
Yeah.
points. I gave the paint points out already.
Ugh.
Hold on.
to find something to even it out, but
Yeah,
I
you've
don't
got
know.
as much time as it takes me to type out the words
Huh?
winner.
Uh,
Cosmos
I wish
Timber.
there was a higher res photo of.
I need to find a better photo. If Braden was online at the moment, I would see if I could find a photo of a KS1 as built, but
I think, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
well,
I
I found
feel like-
something close to it.
I feel like
I found
what would
something very
be.
close to it. I got you.
Did we-
you. Look,
Hmm?
here you go. Here's a photo of 607.
Oh my
It's
word!
earlier. There you go.
Oh, what a goofus maloofus!
It has a single stage air compressor.
It's so sad.
Just average 1900.
Does it not have a knuckle? Was it built with Lincoln Pin?
Was it? No, it has knuckles on the drawing, right? Those are knuckles on the drawing. They've gotta be.
Okay, yeah, they look. Yeah, I guess they look like knuckles. It just doesn't look like it sticks out very much.
The box headlights.
Do we
definitely-
count the like all the extra handrails on 630 as a point?
Well, the arched handrails or
I was
something.
honestly gonna say that the I was gonna say that 11 has more handrails. It's got a lot of handrails.
Yeah, it has the front pilot handrails and the ones along the boiler and the ones
Yeah.
along the tank. So
It's got some real safety. I was gonna give it the safety point, but I just didn't feel like it was overwhelming enough. But either way, I'm writing it in. Cosmos Timber by the points, 15 to 14.
What?
Damn.
for real?
I felt like that was probably even.
Yeah, I want to say it's even, but
I don't
Because
Roger.
630 has the
Back and
giant
forth.
has. Because 630 has like the walkway on the tender with the ladder handrails. And it has the ones on the boiler, and it has the ones on the pilot too.
I'm not sure the ones on the tender were there as built. It looks like a different tender.
I would like to say this much: the fact that a run-of-the-mill 280.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, then it doesn't have any of the
couple
handrails.
decades
then.
before.
I don't
right?
think. I think this. Are you talking about this blueprint? I feel like it's missing stuff.
I got you a photo at the very bottom of the chat.
The 607 is the
Yeah,
same class.
607 is the same class. I could probably even get a higher quality photo than that if I scroll in on it further. Yeah, I got you.
I just
Does
don't
it
know
have more
what
pixels?
Arched cab window.
you do have the arch cab windows.
That is pretty.
Is this
Yes.
more? Is this more pixels?
It is significantly more pixels, yes.
So what? Am I ending it on a tie because of arch cab windows?
Yes.
Sure.
Sure.
Keep the debate going. I
Oh,
don't
God.
see why not. We can declare it here and now even for the rest of time.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna.
Well, does the is that a re-railing bar in the back of the tender of 607?
What are we
I
rolling
can't-
There's
for?
like something. There's like something hanging off in the back there.
Yeah, it might be a re-railing frog.
Might
I
be.
think that some Southern engines did have re-railing frogs. I know when I went to NCTM.
Well, you
had it.
can also see it on the modern photo of 6-3, that thing sticking out. I don't think that's a re-railing flag.
Oh, it's not then. Well,
Yeah, the
I-
modern
I'm happy
the
to
modern
end
photo
on
does
it.
have one. It looks a little.
Oh, actually, oh crap, I didn't even notice in the modern photo that they do in fact have one.
But it's in a different spot, and it looks
Yeah.
different. I don't know if the design of rerailing
Huh.
frogs has changed that much over the years.
I know that
Uh,
11 when they had them on logging railroads, they usually just chucked their toolboxes, wrenches, assorted fittings, some extra rail and stuff on the front deck of the engine, and just booked it down the track with chains on it too.
Also, I can't help
So
but listen. Am I ending it here? Is it 15-15? Is anyone else
I'm happy to end it here.
okay? I'm
The as-built picture has safety chains on the trucks on the tender. That's pretty cool. It's pretty stylish.
I mean I
Aren't
do.
those regular for that era?
I mean
like-
yeah, but safety chains are
No,
safety
yours
chains.
doesn't have it though.
We don't have a tender.
You're not holding the front wheels
Well,
on
even on the
either.
water tank, it doesn't look like it has
It's a tanker.
no safety
Safety
chains.
chains.
It is a tank. If we're talking tenders, that is a converted tank car with a fire hose on the top of it.
Well,
for
then-
putting out
then it'll be-
blindside fires.
Then it'll be 16-16 because the 630 gets the tender chains and the Malay has piston valves.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a big thing we forgot to mention. If we're talking as built, yeah, it's got piston valves, 2 sets of them. Right.
Yeah, which are definitely
is
an
there any
upgrade.
need to drag this out long?
No, there is not.
No,
No.
end it
I
here.
feel like it needs. I need to go take this into the quick versus tool and see how everything really shakes up. And I get the feeling Cosmos Timber is going to have a bad time. But you know,
yeah,
if
it's going purely mechanical, then it's gonna It's
somebody-
slightly less in everything else.
if you guys want to put together like properly done sheets of the current conditions of these locomotives, figure out the stats with the tank tender and everything,
Yeah.
which is doable. I did that for another locomotive. Oh, my poor Minaret. But you know, and then come back and we'll
right?
have a grudge match.
Grudge rematch. Excellent.
It's a
Boy.
tie by the points, 16-16, and
That's-
then
That's fun.
I'm gonna vote. Oh man, this is a tough vote for me. Do either of you guys know, TJ or Milky, who you're voting for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm torn.
I know, me too. This is a tough one. Like, I feel like 630 deserves the win, but I genuinely like
Right.
Cosmos Timber 11 more.
I'm biased.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you?
I'm gonna go with the timber thing. I fought for a 630 to win, and then it lost, so I'm just gonna go with the.
It didn't lose. It just didn't win.
They're both 80s and 90s excursion stars that, albeit like the fact they were built a couple decades apart, they're pretty equally matched for being completely different machines.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that could have gone very decisively in one direction if more stats were
Well,
called.
it could have gone
Oh, yeah.
decisively.
It would have
Two
gone to
directions.
630.
Milky,
I don't know. I feel like the Malay, if you got the spunk a bit out of the way at the beginning, you could have ran with it.
it's not the word I would want to use. But are there 2 votes for Cosmos Timber? Is that what I'm hearing from my other?
I am in favor of Cosmos Timber 11.
Okay, then I
like
will grant 630 my pity vote, and it'll be 2-1. All right, this is gonna be a long episode of the show. All right, but it's ended at 16-16. Let's clear this off, and let's jump into our discussion topics, which will start easy. Jader, what's going on in Baltimore?
Well, I wish I had a soundboard.
Oh, God. It's amazing
Yeah.
because I know exactly what sound. Listen, anyone in the audience knows exactly what they would have just
Yeah.
heard.
We don't even have
Anyway.
to edit
The Milwaukee
Yeah.
wrote.
it. The Milwaukee.
If I had the sound, I'd play it.
Working on it.
But no,
Well.
the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge caused a lot of stuff to get rerouted, right?
Right.
Coal and container
Right.
traffic. Do you know where they sent it?
I'll skim through here real quick, see if I can find it. But as far as oh wait. Yeah, let's see. Okay, according to Trains magazine, in the wake of the Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster, the railroad, in this case CSX, will launch dedicated intermodal service between Baltimore and the port of New York and New
Oh.
Jersey. I guess that's one port. And export coal goes to Newport News, Virginia. Okay.
But
So,
now,
so they had other eastern ports that they could send stuff to.
yeah, coal out of Newport News.
But
Yeah, go on.
yeah, but now they, but now they have, they're sending export coal back to the port of Baltimore. As far, sorry, my brain's at like 2%.
But they've cleared up enough of the bridge to resume sending coal out through the port of Baltimore.
Yes.
Which they actually released a video about it. They released a 2-minute long video talking about the situation and the disaster and the logistics and everything like that. It is... How long has it been? Francis
Only a month and a half, right?
Scott Key Bridge. Yeah, because it was before I went to jury duty, and that's been 6 weeks. So Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse was March 26th, so it was almost exactly 2 months ago. Which, man, I can't believe that 2 months have gone by. But
How is that 2 months? My God.
yeah. So 2 coal trains a day to the Curtis Bay Pier 10 days ago, and then the full channel was open yesterday. Well, yesterday as of this article being posted, so like a week ago. And ramp up to 3 coal trains per day. And NS is also shifting its coal exports back to Baltimore. So, nature is healing. We're exporting coal again. Hooray.
Yay.
I'm interested to see what comes of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, how long it takes to build something new, and what it ends up looking like, even.
Draw boat?
No. Oh, no. That's what Baltimore needs. That would be less chaotic, surely.
Well, I mean, it could move out of the way if a boat's coming, right?
I mean,
Right?
if we're taking from the experiences with the draw boats that we know of, the boats would be regularly moving it out of the way.
Exactly.
If you hit it, it just goes. But that's the Baltimore update.
Yeah, things are looking up in Baltimore.
It's good to hear good news. I want to touch on one of the other simple ones so that we can try to get them out of the way because we are way over time in Locomotive Versus, so here we are in discussion topics. Cosmos, please tell us about Mount Rainier Scenic Porter number 5.
Well, this is a restoration project that's pretty close to my heart because I was born and raised in Seattle and Washington State overall. Lived in a little place called Kenmore, Seaplane Town. And I used to visit Mount Rainier Scenic Railroad in addition to the Snoqualmie Museum when I was really, really little. And I remember seeing the Heisler and I think Porter number 5 for a little bit, like in some DVDs and in person. So the restoration of the thing is pretty cool. I've been paying attention on Facebook with Martin E. Hansen's posts, and they started a GoFundMe, which I'm sure that Ellis will link in the description to go donate to it. And ever since Mount Rainier's been doing their rail bike operations, they've been, restoring the steam engines they've got. I think they did Pulson 70, right?
Yeah,
They
they
got
did
that thing up
70
and running.
first because it
And
didn't
now
need
they've
much
got the
work.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5, if I recall correctly, the guys who did work on it previously, there was something to do with welding both ends of the tubes in the tube sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't think that was anyone's proudest moment there. At least it's being fixed now, and
Yeah.
were the tube sheets reparable? I'm pretty sure after they cut out the tubes, like, the sheets just worked back to normal.
I don't know. I haven't kept up with it in a minute.
Either way, I mean, it's an interesting little critter. It's got the tender off of like a Northwestern Pacific 10-wheeler, I think.
Yep.
The Vandy. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I remember the story of Martin E. Hansen, the guy who does all the great photos, right? He outlined this thing about it, right? When they started sandblasting the tender, it disintegrated.
Oh God,
So
yes.
they had to go get the truckless MOW NWP Vandy, chuck a pair of trucks under it, and then use that as Porter number 5's tender.
Truckless
So-
Vandy.
Yeah, the truckless Vandy they were using as fuel storage.
I-
It was
Yeah.
great.
Can I have a picture of Porter number 5? Also, is Porter number 5 a Colombian? Is it a 242?
It's a 282. It's
Oh, it's a
big
282.
engine.
It's a big Porter.
It-
Okay, I didn't know
They call
Porter's
it
got
the
that.
boss.
It's one of the biggest porters, actually. Mount Rainier Scenic, they were known back in the day for like the good days of preservation in like the 80s and 90s as the guys who had one operating example of basically every type of logging engine, bar Malays.
Yeah,
They had a Willamette. Willamettes are great. That thing,
They
I love
are.
their Willamette.
they are
Super
great.
They're
heated
just
Shay.
shays but better. Yeah. They're shays but better in every single conceivable way. There's
Yeah.
number 5 next to Hammond 17.
Hammond.
Have you considered
Hammond!
Have you considered Big Six?
Yeah, but imagine Big Six but superheated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. Is it super?
Is it
I think it
superheated?
is superheated.
I'm pretty
I
sure
think-
like the
I
engine
think,
itself is basically identical to a fork truck.
I think Lima itself, we
I don't
upped
know.
their standards for sage after the Wamics hit the market.
Oh my
I
God,
would like to
competition.
say
They're like,
Um,
oh no, this small.
the
Company
Alco,
in
Alco,
Oregon.
was it Alco? No, it's
No,
Lima.
no,
it was
no,
Lima.
no.
Lima.
Yeah,
I was
Lima
thinking
was
of Alco
the one
because I was looking at the Hammond engine, but Lima
Hammond-
was shown up by Willamette because the patent for the Shay expired. And
Yes.
then Willamette, being based out of the West Coast, got feedback directly from the loggers, and they were like, "Okay, we just
Yeah.
gotta shift the cylinders in front of the cab to get more cab space, put superheating in it, give it piston valves and Walschaerts valve gear, and bada bing, bada boom." They had something that was a million times better than even the Pacific Coast Shays, I
Yeah.
think was it, which were made in retaliation, which kept the Stevenson's valve gear. So, track there, but number 5 was a real critter. They put it in Great Northern inspired colors for a little while. It was really funny.
Cool.
It's probably my favorite lane up there because they actually ran out here in my area, the Willamette Valley in Oregon. It was
Oh,
built
wow.
for the Carlton and Coast Railroad. And was there until, I think, 1939 when they got sold off to whoever it got sold off to.
Oh, that's very cool.
But there it was 55 and it has square tender.
Fair enough. I mean, I think that have you guys ever seen the documentary on the Mount Rainier Scenic while they were doing gravel trains? Because in that documentary, they spent, I think, a little bit under a third of the runtime just complaining about how terrible the climax they got was, and how it'd rock from speeds of 8 to 12 and knock itself to bits. So I think that's like the bottom of their restoration list. I'd imagine
haven't
that
seen
even
that
the
documentary,
Stat
but I would
Sop
like to.
engine is above it.
There's the photo.
Oh yeah, there it is. That thing's pretty. Yeah, look, they gave it a proper steel pilot later, but it was built for
That
so.
is one hell of a brick of a tender.
Yeah, it was a literal block, and then they give it a Vandy because it's a nice little Vandy.
Eh.
And it was on the market.
Yeah, they had it. It was, I think the story goes, is that the Alco 282 and the Heisler, maybe, were owned by some dude who had his own railroad, a standard gauge railroad that was on his private property, and he ran both of them. And then when he decided to, sell his stuff off, Mount Rainier bought that stuff and the Vandy in case they needed it off of him. So they had the Alco and the Heisler from that guy. I forget the name of the railroad though. I'll see if I remember it later.
I
think that should be a wrap
didn't
on
know that. I mean, there's been a lot of content out of Mount Rainier Scenic lately. As they've been sort of coming back to life. I had no
Oh,
idea
yeah,
there was so
the
much
YouTube.
lore. Oh, there's a picture of it with the Vandy. All right, let me put that on screen.
Their
I like-
YouTube is great. I will scrap you down to your axles, you piece of shit, if you do not start. Do you understand? That's
Accurate
great.
descriptor of any piece of railroad equipment.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to
Exactly.
swear
Yeah.
at it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. They did it to the Alco and it worked.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's
I-
another fun little piece. Actually, let's do the reciprocal switching thing.
Okay.
So
so
what's
free
going on?
railroads have stood up and said, "STB, stop.
Stop it.
Just stop. Get some help." But in reality, they're doing the opposite. They're trying to get some help so these free railroads can do their gosh darn job.
Okay. Yeah.
So, free railroads asked federal court to toss out STB's reciprocal switching will. With reciprocal switching, we've talked about a number of times here, but if you've been under a rock for the past couple of years, there's been a bit of a switching problem on smaller jobs.
Yeah, the class
Like
ones don't want to do
local
it because
job.
it doesn't make them
Yeah.
enough money. So the SDP came up with this set of rules for reciprocal switching, which we've talked about quite a bit on some previous episodes in detail because they actually do have a detailed set of rules.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It is pretty. It's a pretty cool setup. But it's just like if a company is doing really badly, like the other nearest class 1 can be automatically granted trackage rights to switch an industry that the first railroad is serving poorly. And like it's something that I sort of poo-pooed at first. It's a really neat concept. I feel like now, especially with the stuff that's set up, even if it is a really narrow like window, a really narrow set of things.
I can see a few scenarios out here where it would be nice.
Yeah, and I hope that this doesn't lead to it getting sort of hamstrung, because it's already pretty, like, it is not, it says so in the article, reciprocal switching for inadequate service doesn't apply to traffic that moves under contract, or is among the commodities that are not currently subject to board regulation. So, carload and bulk freight, there's a whole bunch of, also Pepsi can coming through on the camera. Oh, sorry, that was a little bit ago. My thing is back. It's a very narrow set of cargoes, a very, like a small percentage of moves that are subject to reciprocal switching, which makes it even weirder to me that that the railroads are telling them not to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to. I mean, does anyone have takes on reciprocal switching that we haven't covered yet?
Not really. I think it's just.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
a
don't
good
really have
idea.
anything new. Yeah.
It's
Gives the shippers flexibility.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Makes it a
man,
little.
if it improves things for shippers, then I'm here for it.
yeah, it just strikes me as they're trying to not gamify, but they're trying to make it so that there's like a penalty for serving an industry badly, and it's having that industry run by your competitor, right? But what if no one wants to do it? What if the competitor also doesn't want to deal with it? They also just want to do PSR and run 3-mile long intermodal trains and nothing else, right? It just strikes me as it falls apart a little bit if the pressures on the different railroads are really not any different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that reciprocal switching does something, but
Even a bit marginally improves like shipping quality for shippers. That's still better than what they're getting now.
yeah, I hope it does that. I hope it just doesn't turn into well, we've increased the amount of paperwork, but the service hasn't gotten better because Company B actually also doesn't want to serve the industry that Company A is reluctant to serve.
Ah.
Yeah.
So they're counting on the reliability of the big railroad, even if the small one fails, or whatever,
Well,
vice versa.
No, it's
I,
big
this
railroads
is more
against big
targeted.
railroads.
Yeah, this
Ah,
is
okay.
fast
So they're
ones.
just saying, okay. So it's whatever, whoever serves the industry
I
that.
I don't think I can have Union Pacific go serve the Patram Co-op
Well, not with that
because
attitude, you
Grammar
can't.
Valley. Well, yeah. We'll see about that.
Hmm.
I'll write my angry email after this podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, Cosmos, if you're not familiar, it is, say Union Pacific is doing a poor job of switching an industry, the industry can tell the Surface Transportation Board, like, UP isn't meeting these metrics, and
Hmm.
there's an interchange with BNSF 10 miles down the way. Can we get BNSF in here to switch instead? And so the idea is that,
Get the other guys' asses in gear.
Yeah,
Makes
exactly.
sense.
The competition of or the threat of we're going to hand this industry off to the other nearby railroad would be enough to make Union Pacific, sort of get its act together. But if Union Pacific doesn't want to do it, and BNSF, which is the other nearby railroad, also doesn't want to do it because these small industry switching jobs don't make enough money, then I don't know. I don't think it's going to make anything better in practice, even if it would make things better in theory, because all of the major railroads are just existing at the whims of the shareholders now, right?
Yeah.
They're only
I
here
could
to make
see where-
line go up.
I could see where things could go wrong. Like, big time.
I'm just
Either way,
Yeah.
more paperwork for the railroads to deal with. We'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I don't know. It needs to. We continue in the continuing saga of the Class 1 meltdown, and this is let's see if pitting them against one another works. I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
And you can't even threaten them with giving the industries over to trucks, because I'm sure these railroads that are poorly serving these industries would love to not deal with serving them anymore. That's why they're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what we really need? We just need to send the AI in. That'll sort it all out. The AI will figure out how to run the railroads.
Oh no.
Trust me, I've played a lot of trains.
Well, we might want to take a look at Rio Tinto in Western Australia.
No, I'm sure it's fine out there. I mean, they probably just what happened?
Well, an investigation is underway into an iron ore train crash. The mining giant said an autonomous train hit a set of stationary wagons outside Karatha. A spokesperson said the incident occurred just after midnight on Monday,
A while ago.
May 13th. And 22 wagons and 3 locomotives were impacted. No injuries, no people around. So apparently, a recovery train is reported to have collided with the ore train it was sent to recover after it was disabled by a mechanical failure.
But it's okay, because the governor man said, I'm sending in more trains.
Mr. President, a second AI train.
Yeah, so this is the second Rio Tinto derailment in the Pilbara this year, apparently.
And this is the straight up, this is the middle of nowhere. This is the middle of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, apparently in February, an empty autonomous train left the tracks about 120 kilometers from Dampier. It also follows another derailment of one of the miners' autonomous trains in June of last year. So they're not doing great.
They're not doing great, no. I mean, I wonder if all of these were things that could have been avoided by a human operator. I mean, obviously slamming into a cut of stationary cars, maybe that could have been prevented. But we don't know how much headroom the engineer would have had, how much notice a human engineer would have had that there was a stationary cut of cars in front. Frankly, I think this was probably all set up by the emus. Ever since the war, there's been this insurgency, and they've been wrecking trains left and right.
Oh yeah.
But
I agree. It's all BMOs.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Well, you know who might need to call an emu?
Who?
The Limu Emu, the Liberty
God.
Mutual Emu for some insurance. This guy, Andrew Carroll, who is accusing Union Pacific of negligence and of violating the Federal Locomotive Inspection Act in a civil complaint filed Thursday in the U.S. District Court for Wyoming.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Wait,
You think we're gonna have another Boeing whistleblower situation?
Yeah, this guy's about to get, he's about to fall on an ice pick 27 times.
Hey,
So
I've seen this one.
apparently, Union Pacific's leader system tried to accelerate a locomotive in the middle of the train while also trying to slow down the locomotive that he was in on the front of the train, causing the string of freight cars between the two to rear end the locomotive and throw him across the cab and hurt his back and legs.
Damn. He was rear-ended by his own train. It's brutal.
Yeah. He alleges that no competent locomotive engineer would have allowed this situation to arise under the circumstances. He says he invokes the Federal Locomotive Inspection Act, which says a railroad carrier can only use locomotives that are safe and have been inspected. The unmanned software proved itself not to be safe. Document also says UP can ascribe comparative fault to Kiro under the statute because federal law also says courts overseeing litigation with common carriers can't hold the injured employees guilty of contributory negligence.
Oh.
So even if he did something wrong, they can't.
That's kind of interesting.
The same.
From my perspective, it just sounds like bad train handling.
Bad train handling on account
AI.
of the AI.
Yeah. On
Yeah.
account of the AI, but yeah.
Which
If it was out
is
of control,
fascinating
then it was-
that we've reached.
Yeah, it says he accused the company of negligence, saying UP didn't warn Carroll that the AI was a hazard, and that UP should have protected him from the unreasonable hazard. He also alleges that UP failed to train and supervise him adequately on operating the computer.
Well, that's an interesting one.
I mean, that one also tracks.
I mean, it also, I mean, it does track. Like, I don't not believe it. It's just an interesting take, just being like, well, I didn't know how to use it.
Hold on a moment. Here's my question, right? If
Go
it
ahead.
was an actual engineer instead of an AI, would the engineer or the railroad be liable? That's
The situation probably wouldn't have happened.
Well, if in
assuming it did.
the event that this guy had throttled up his DPU and then got thrown around the cab as a result of it, I feel like he couldn't be suing the railroad.
That'd be a
Yeah,
skill.
I feel like he would be kind of shit out of luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the right word would be nice going dumbass, but
Yeah. Well, and yeah, in this case, he's just the victim of a rogue computer, which is, again, it's
weird.
just it's weird to be in this era of indescribable teething troubles with something that we never thought we'd deal with. Like, this is my first introduction to the leader system, is this claim. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I knew that there were, some sort of computerized protocols that existed in the class 1s and stuff, for, like, fuel management and things like that. I did not know that this was a possible result of that.
I can see why. I mean, you don't think it's possible till it happens, right? And it's not in the public spot eye until someone gets hurt because of it.
Yeah. Our regulations are written in blood, right?
And
Yeah.
the news feeds on it.
Telling the locomotive to slow down. Honestly, I'm amazed they didn't just pop a bunch of cars.
Yeah, it is weird. It is a weird situation. Like, it sounds like, I mean, it says it was like in the middle of the train.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the guy getting thrown around the cab is like and not to downplay this man's possibly permanent injury, but it's like the least bad thing that could have happened. Like, you could have had a situation where you put a bunch of cars on the ground in the middle of the train and had a massive derailment and caused all sorts of problems.
The worst Rio Tinto.
Rio Tinto. Again, that one, thankfully, was in the middle of absolutely nowhere. It's the middle of nowhere. Like I said, I mean,
Yeah.
Australia is. It's no surprise to me that Australia is the test bed for automated train technology. Because God, who would want to do that?
Yeah.
Not one.
Well, one set of trains that aren't operating in the middle of nowhere are remote-controlled locomotives.
Okay.
According to this article titled, "Oh, is this from the New York Times?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's on Yahoo News, but it's from the New York Times. Gotcha.
Thanks, Yahoo.
100-ton locomotive with no one in the cab.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hmm.
So
Do I smell 8-ball?
No, it's not. We do not have a Crazy 8 situation.
So this article is about various incidents with remote controlled train operations, and how the use of them is being expanded beyond the scope of regulation into somewhat dangerous territories. According to the article, they are running them between yards now. Apparently, some regulators told the reporters that they've heard RC controlled trains going as far as like 20 miles or 50 miles, but they
Oh,
haven't
wow.
seen it, so they don't really know for sure.
Mm.
That's
Um,
crazy.
Yeah. That
yeah,
is
so
bad.
apparently the remote control operations, you don't have to have somebody on the train for like the inside of a yard operations, but the
Yeah.
boundaries of what constitutes being inside of a yard are expanding. And there's also no limit to how many cars the things can control at once. So you could have like a 1.5 mile train behind one of these RC locomotives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Or
just
curve them even.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the automatic locomotive stuff, at least in my experience from what I've seen, is remote RC locomotives running humps. So they're
Yeah.
pushing these
Mhm.
massive strings of cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
but apparently you can also have like a few people like on the train, either like on one end or like hanging off of the side, or just on the train in some fashion, operating them for a longer distance.
Like on a shoving platform? Or...
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, somehow they're on the train. It doesn't really like specify exactly how they're on the trains. I
I
think it
don't
said
know
on the
if I'd want to
side.
cling to the side of a hopper for about 20 miles, but,
Hey,
you
gone!
know.
Just make everything yard limits. I feel like that's almost what they're. Well, maybe they
Um,
won't try to do that, but
Well, so,
but yeah,
yeah, Jader,
I don't know.
Seems like the hump yard job is turning
Everything's-
local pretty quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something about that, and I've heard from from railroaders just like, oh, something's only allowed in yard limits. Oh, that sucks that the whole railroad's yard limits now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sweating nervously.
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently, in operations within a rail yard or very near one, there are special protocols in place. The remote operator may be standing as far as several thousand feet away from the train. In these designated remote control zones, there is no requirement that the person piloting the train have a view of the tracks ahead. These zones can stretch for several miles, documents show. It was in one of these areas that the train in Buffalo was operating when it hit the boy, who they referenced earlier, and no one was on board.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
most of these
guessing-
incidents, so this is where the article starts to get interesting. The more you read the article, the more you're like, huh. It like kind of goes back and forth to this. Like the union obviously is saying they're taking away jobs from the union. They're not safe. They're, highly trained engineers would have, better control and better visibility on a train
hold on
than
a
like
moment.
the lower trained. Apparently, you don't have to be as highly trained to be a remote control operator as you do to be an engineer.
That makes
So they're
sense.
saying that like there's like
Makes
less
sense.
experience on on the sides of the RC engineers.
That's interesting. I mean, that's
What if yard limit has like a crossing and no one's on board? You don't do the horn signal then? How are you supposed to?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
I think you can
Well,
still haunt the horn from the belt.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely
Assuming
hum
you
the
can
horn from
see
the
it.
thing. Yeah, I mean, because that's one of the things it talks about on this too. Like, there's a few places where these remote control trains operate where there are multiple crossings without gates.
Oh.
And there's like relatives to some of the victims say that there's like there's no fences saying, hey, keep out. There's no signs saying dangerous trains moving. There's nothing saying, unmanned train operating ahead or something like that. Um, but the article gets interesting because uh, most of these accidents are from people crawling in between train cars,
Oh.
and then the train starts
Yeah.
moving. And so the
Oh.
railroads allege that um, even an engineer wouldn't be able to necessarily spot all of these, like, prevent all of these accidents from happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it strikes me
I,
as like
I,
the bright line problem, right? It's like, yeah, this is like these are bad things that are happening, but it's so rarely the train's fault.
I'd hate to
Yeah.
agree with the big railroads here, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Well,
the
you know what
interesting
they
thing is like,
say
so
about the
the
Darwin Award.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing though, because part of this article is like saying, yeah, the railroads like are very quick to blame the victim, because they clearly are trespassing, and you shouldn't be moving between train cars and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's like obviously something that you shouldn't do. But at the same time, like advocates for the engineers unions and other like employees of the railroads and stuff are saying like, well, if it was a train crew and an engineer that was operating the train instead of a remote control guy, they would they would walk the train and make sure the train was clear. They would, have more, like they would be watching from the cab to be able to like maybe, sound the horn or ring the bell more than a remote control operator might be able to in the incident that they do spot someone, um, you know, entering the tracks or on the tracks ahead and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then there was one incident where the train moved back and forth multiple times over someone before they noticed
Ugh,
that it was there.
Oh.
And it was
that's
like a
just
remote
straight up
control
grisly.
train. And like,
God.
yeah. And like in those situations, like, yeah, you would hope that a human engineer would be better equipped to not do that than a remote control train.
Yeah, I feel like doing remote control operation, I understand why it's enticing, right? But I feel like the rule being you have to have eyes on both ends of your train while you're doing this. Really, that's not much of a stretch to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a
Yeah.
real reason to be expanding this stuff outside the scope of yard switching. And, maybe we need to more rigorously define what a yard is. Maybe we have to, make a rule explicitly barring remote control operation over public crossings. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
here's a little more from the article that's pretty interesting. In March, a UP locomotive operated by a single remote crew member hauled 128 cars, including 62 that were carrying hazardous materials in Texas from Angleton to Freeport, a distance of 19 miles, according to documents obtained by the New York Times. The
Wow.
route traverses several communities and includes 18 train crossings, 5 of them with no gates. UP said the route complies with federal regulations and includes less than 1 mile of mainline track, with most of the journey conducted on a slower industrial track, which operates much like a rail yard.
There you go. Everything is
yeah,
yard limits.
exactly.
Oh my
Federal
God.
guidance released in 2007 advised that remote trains be limited to 3,000 feet in length, traveling at less than 15 miles an hour on routes of less than half a mile and on flat ground. While that guidance still applies, there's no regulatory limit on the number of train cars being hauled by a remote locomotive, said a spokesperson for the FRA. Quote, I would love to say I would say excuse me, sorry. I would say that was the guidance at the time, and the railroads have been pushing the limits of the guidance. We are scrutinizing remote control operations more closely because there have been several accidents involving them.
Yeah, no, there needs to be. I don't think limiting the number of cars moved at a time is necessarily the right way to go
No,
about it.
that's
But
no.
no public crossings, no in between yards. Maybe just outside of yard limits at all should be, disallowed, prohibited.
Yes.
Either way, it's just I had never even considered that there would be these loopholes that allowed someone to run a remote controlled locomotive for 20 miles. Do you think they followed it that whole time? Do you think they just
they're
like
probably just like on the pilot or something, or
well
Oh,
I
God.
can't
yeah,
even
yeah,
no, I
pilot,
can't even
they-
imagine that they were with it. I would bet that they friggin' what it makes it sound like anyway is that they're just at some yard, right? And they say, "Oh, we got to send this train to the other yard 20 miles away." Okay, the driver, the engineer, ostensibly is up in the tower at the one yard, and he just sends it off, and they track it on the dispatch board, and then it rolls into the other yard, and he talks to the other tower manager, and it's like, "All right, your train now."
Yeah,
It's
I mean, it
it's
says
like
a single
sending
remote
something through
crew
an
member,
eye
and I
portal.
don't know what that. Yeah, I don't know what a single remote crew member means. I don't know if that means like someone remotely controlling it or someone controlling it via a remote but on the train.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that it's the former, because the latter seems
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Well-
why not just drive the train?
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing on that, but also it could be like a drayage driver situation where it's like, okay, we'll send the remote operator to do it because we don't have to pay him as much.
Yeah, or he's not trained as well, right?
Yeah,
You mentioned that earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 So railroads have declined to specify how far they're running remote trains outside the confines of rail yards. Christian Holt, director of the FRA's Operating Practice Division, acknowledged that even the agency has no reliable reporting on this question. Quote, "We've heard 20 miles. We are trying to figure out how far they're going. I don't know. We've heard 50 miles, but we've not witnessed that."
That's crazy.
It's interesting because apparently these remote rail operators have their own union.
Really? Oh, great.
Yeah, the remote operators union, the International Association of Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers, contends that remote technology is safe, but the railroads are cutting too many jobs, leaving many trains to be operated by a single remote operator known as an RCO, handling a job that should be done by 2 or 3 people.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
We're just getting to one-man crews the long way around.
Yeah, but the rules for 2-person crews that Biden passed in April specifically exempt remote operations because other safety regulations already address that type of train, said the DOT.
No, they don't.
Well, clearly
Well,
they just don't do
but
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's crazy. And it's just one of those things where now the technology is getting out ahead of regulation, which, I mean, that's sort of a constant, right? But it's
It's just like with AI in general. It's like, it's just, well, this isn't AI, but it's like, yeah, it's just outpacing. Like, it's either going to, at least how I see it, it's either going to get too big to effectively regulate, or hey, maybe I'll be optimistic and we'll find a way to regulate it.
Well, I mean,
Return to
yeah.
there's always
to 5-person crews.
yeah, there's always a way to regulate it. It just requires the political willpower to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the FRA could mandate 3-person crews tomorrow if there was the directive for it. Sure, it would have to go through legal battles and this, that, and the other. They could outlaw remote train operation. Sure, the class ones would try to find a loophole. They'd try to argue against it, etc. Obviously, now that they've got their own union, that's a different problem. But it just
So
this in particular, especially with railroads, it's not out of reach, right? Sorry, TJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up the example where I mentioned earlier where they said that like an engineer could have blown the horn and rang the bell. That was actually for someone who got hit by one of the locomotives operating. It was a rail employee.
Oh, jeez.
He parked his truck,
What a
walked across
mess.
multiple tracks when he was hit by a remote locomotive. Train consisted of 2 locomotives, was traveling at 10 miles an hour. Operator who was controlling it was riding on the back on the opposite side where he could not see the front of the train. It was not until a few minutes later that a coworker saw Anderson's body cut in 2.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Police records show that one of the employees questioned by officers said that the remote train was going faster than usual. Although the accident may ultimately be blamed on Anderson for stepping onto the tracks, several of his coworkers and others in the industry said that even simple steps, such as requiring the use of sensors or cameras for remote operations, equipment that is standard in automobiles, could improve safety.
Yeah, I don't. Because of the original locale of a robo shunter being like within the yard, they think that someone's always up in the tower keeping an eye on it. But if you have the ability to run it and you don't have the ability to see where it is. Like, if you can run it out of sight, people are going to run it out of sight.
Yeah, I mean, there's an employee who says that like he actually prefers the remote control operation because he just sits in the tower, does the yard dispatching, and just runs the locomotive himself. And there's like less of a middleman to mess stuff up. But like,
Mm,
I mean, like if there's one guy who's sitting in the like, how many guys are sitting in the dispatch booth watching the entire yard doing this, and how many guys are sitting eating their lunch, remote operating a locomotive from the back?
in
You know what I mean? Like,
in a pickup truck, just like off to the side.
yeah,
just sitting there with their Digitrax throttle.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
hell yeah. I mean, the guy running the whole yard from up in the tower, like, yes, I have been yard master of Framingham. Like, I've gone to the Providence Northern and been in an op session. I know how to do this. Come on.
I've played Railroader.
Yeah. Just as an aside, the newest Railroader update added a static cam at the tower that you can always switch back to, like looking at the dispatch board, and it's my favorite thing in the game so far. Anyway, we're going long for this segment. I'm so glad that I deliberately pushed the floor back open for this, because this has been good conversation. Oh no, sorry, that was for reciprocal switching. What am I saying? This is a totally different topic. But no, TJ, I'm glad that you took this and read the article and had some takes coming in.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I see it from both perspectives, and of course, all the comments are like, "Well, they shouldn't be on the tracks." Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, but like, I mean, you expect when you're at least crossing the railroad tracks that the train that's approaching you is going to be with a guy sitting that can slam on the brakes,
or at least blow the
like,
horn.
Even if it won't stop in time, like you can have a reason. You should have a reasonable assumption that you're not just going to get plowed out of nowhere without anybody even seeing it.
Phrasing.
Yeah. In the back, no less.
Yeah.
Oh.
If we're doing,
No, I'm not gonna say that.
I want to. Oh shoot! I can no longer get onto Railway Age. I reached my limit of free stories for the month. Hold on. I wanted to talk about. Hold on, let me open incognito window. I wanted to talk about Amtrak. Oh shoot!
Or that.
Hold on. What'd you say, Chater?
You need NordVPN.
Yeah, this is actually the entrance to the sponsor segment. Just need a Railway Age thing. So there's a new nominee for the Amtrak Board of Directors, and he was in the FRA. He was the admin of the FRA after 2017. So he was the administrator of the FRA during the Trump admin, which has painted a target on his back apparently because people are kind of upset about this nomination.
Oh, is that the one that the unions are really mad about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ronald L. Battery or Battery deregulation as the Railroad Workers United. I guess this is a Twitter account. Said.
Yeah, well, it's like it is a union. It's like their Twitter account.
Yeah, the deregulation aficionado from the Trump era. Yeah, I'm just not used to this because it's Thread Reader app.
Oh yeah, that's because it's like multiple. That's what you use if you. So in order to see like multiple tweets in a row is called Thread.
Yeah.
And in order to see threads now, you have to have an account on X.
Okay.
And if you don't want to subject people to making an account on X, you can just like at this bot, and it'll send you a link to like the whole thread unrolled on a website. So
nice.
Yeah. So he's blamed for loosening rail safety regulations, which was linked to disaster in East Palestine, and basically it's they're dunking on this guy and Biden's appointment of him because he's
supposed to be Amtrak Joe.
Because this guy is apparently, not a good look in terms of safety, in terms of regulation. I don't necessarily know how that bodes for his time on the Amtrak board, but I can understand why Battery in particular is someone that they don't want in a position of power in the railroads.
Yeah.
I don't personally have a strong stance on this. I would need to understand more about his connection to
Yeah.
East Palestine during that era, because East Palestine to me speaks to just utter disregard by the class ones themselves. You know,
Yeah, I
in-
think I think
yeah.
he like I think he I don't know a ton about this, but I think from what I gathered from like some other stuff that the union has said, he was like responsible for some rollbacks in regulation that kind of allowed train sizes to like balloon in length, or some other things that, like, you know, down the food chain probably helped contribute to what happened, or like allowed to get the class, like allowed the class ones to kind of, you know, go hog wild up until that point, I guess.
yeah, it's you know, he got it in 2018. I assume he was out, you know, in 2020 or 2021. I don't know how long he stayed on as admin of the FRA, but you know, it's I don't know. If he does end up on the Amtrak board, which I haven't seen I haven't
Haven't really been
seen.
any updates to this.
Yeah, there are no updates to this. I don't know if it ended up getting walked back, if it's stuck in limbo, if he got confirmed and we just haven't seen anything on it. Um, but this is, I guess, something to keep an eye out on. Um, and if we get something else, I'll probably come back around to it. That said, the CEO of Amtrak seems to be fairly optimistic about the situation there. Um, the headline here being that Amtrak no longer has to live hand to mouth. And I can't read the rest of the article. Man, this is a real rough spate of articles that we have here. But it's a good bellwether, right? Especially with places like North Carolina and I believe this is Christiansburg, Virginia, and even South Dakota thinking about, in some respects, more Amtrak, all the way from thinking about to getting. Now, South Dakota, in particular, has sort of they put the kibosh on it themselves. The state's transportation secretary isn't very optimistic about it, but it's South Dakota. They were left off the expansion map. Whatever.
Well, did they? Never mind, I forgot. I was going to ask something, but I don't remember what it is now.
That's okay. Understand. But we have seen a couple of little growths in Amtrak lately, like actual positive growth, not just discussion. One of them being the Borealis, which is, of course, located entirely within my kitchen.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask if you guys reported on the new Borealis yet.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about it last episode, but now we actually have the, it's out there. It is running, and I haven't heard any numbers about it, but I've heard a lot of people saying that they're glad that it's there.
I saw a bunch of videos of like the first trip.
Yeah.
On Twitter. The transit nerds were on it, of course.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, this is great. I mean, a second Milwaukee to Chicago train, a Milwaukee to Chicago train that isn't the once daily Empire Builder is really nice, because the Empire Builder can get choked up with people that are going much further than Milwaukee. And it was pretty busy between Milwaukee and Chicago in terms of, selling out or filling up. So, it's exciting. It's exciting to see a genuine win for Amtrak. And I'm looking forward to many more. Hoping for many more, anyway. It really does seem like rail ridership is up sort of all over. I mean, we said a long time ago that people like trains, but really, people like trains.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
really enjoying them lately, huh?
Speaking of which, oh, I gotta do the
Oh,
maintenance away.
one thing I wanted to note about the corridor ID expansion thing in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Um, I noticed something that I hadn't seen before, which might be a more recent update. The one of the future plans for corridor ID expansion is the rail line that used to run past my where my parents live now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's surprising to me how proactive the Southeast, particularly the Carolinas, have been about passenger rail.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from the little I've been down there, like even if they have tracks that aren't active, it's all still there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a ton of freight, like especially where my parents live, like on that New Bern and Morehead City thing.
Heh.
Like there's like a whole freight railroad that just runs like down that stretch. And now Amtrak is looking at like the depot is still there too. They use it as like a bus terminal. Like Amtrak has a bus service there.
Yeah, they've got the
The
what
other
the
deep,
throughway service.
yeah, they have a couple stations still like hanging out down there. They're just buses, but they're right next to the train tracks.
Yeah, and that's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, that'll be nice to see. Hopefully, one day I can take the train to my parents' house.
I would love to open up the floor again and be like, so what little corridors do we think we should, what do we want? But we are way over time, and I still need to talk about the
Ohio,
trading cards.
please,
Yes, more in Ohio. Bring back the National Limited, actually.
please. Bring back the National Limited so you can get it across the middle of Ohio, and then I don't know, maybe the 3C thing.
Yes.
Then the Sportsman route, so you can get to Toledo and then down to like Portsmouth and shit, connect to the Cardinal.
Sportsman route.
The smashing
Please.
sportsman.
Please, I will do it myself with blackjack and hookers if I have to.
Simply take 701.
I mean, it's got ditch lights. It's got ditch lights. So
Halfway there.
yeah,
Anyway, all right. So let me talk about. Was there something else that I needed to talk about in maintenance away other than the cards? Because I swear I said something at the top of the show. Somebody yell at me in the comments if I forgot it. But yes, I haven't put them up on the website yet because I haven't numbered them or whatever. But the batch 4 of trading cards arrived at my house earlier today. They need to be numbered, sorted into packs, and then I need to make the entry on the website and make the announcement and make probably an announcement video. Hopefully that'll all go out. Oh, it was the trip. Hopefully that'll all go out onto the website before we have to leave, which is like a week from today, a week from tomorrow. And the other thing I wanted to do was talk about the Colorado trip. Now, I don't need to go into detail on all what the trading cards are. It's a batch called Into the Woods. It's about logging locomotives. And because we didn't have a way to do calculations for geared engines, it's a lot of weird stuff. Because it's all logging locomotives that are not geared engines. You'd be like, those are really the mainstays. So I'm just going to go really quick run down what we're doing and where we're going to be on the Colorado trip. I know we'll be riding the Georgetown Loop on Thursday the 6th. Some people will be on Pikes Peak, and then I think we're all going to Cripple Creek on Friday the 7th. We'll be at the Colorado Rail Museum on Saturday the 8th. We'll probably be hanging out there for a lot of the day. I might set up something with trading cards, hang out, trade. If you're in the Denver area, come and bother us as we bother everyone at the CRRM. We're doing the DNS on the 10th, the CATS on the 11th, and then
Reciprocal bothering.
Yes, and then the Grand Canyon Railway on the 13th. Those are the sort of big things that we're going to hit. If you want to say hello, you are welcome to do so. And yeah, that is the abridged what we're gonna do in Colorado. I know some other people have some other sort of ancillary trips that are surrounding it. Milky, I know you're doing all sorts of stuff. Um, but yeah, I wanted to real quick open the floor for Cosmos. If you have things that you want to advertise, if you can drop some links in, I'll drop some links in the document for you.
Oh, I mean, in terms of advertising, I mean, you can go check out San Juan Branch Line if you want. The channel's back up and active. Go add, your funds to the Porter number 5 vault of bank to get that thing running again. That's a project I would love to see finished sometime in the next decade. Besides that, I guess there's not much. And there is, though, a excellent meme that I only had a very small part in making.
Oh no.
But it's great. It's linked in
God.
the Terminations track 0.
Okay, well we'll come around to the terminations when we come around to the terminations.
Fair enough.
Does anyone else have any advertisements? TJ, you didn't mention your WWF railcar video.
Yeah, I was about to pipe in. Yeah, I years ago was volunteered myself to help out with the WWF YouTube channel. This was when I was still in college. Pandemic happened, and I stopped helping. Pretty much. Short story is, I dropped the ball. But we're back. I talked to some volunteers at WWF recently this year. Now that I am a slave to the corporate grind, I need something fun to do with my life, so I am back with the YouTube channel. And we just passed 1,000 subscribers. We've released 3 videos since I've taken over. I've got someone working with me from the Dynamo Productions team, so we're kind of tag teaming it a little bit. He's releasing some videos, I'm releasing some videos, and yeah, channel grew from 750 to 1,050 in like a month. So we're trucking. Subscribe, go watch the videos. There's gonna be more coming soon. We're hoping to put some actual work into it, grow the channel, create sort of a YouTube identity for the Railroad Museum, and hopefully get some cool videos out of it too. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we just need to get back up there. Yeah, if you
guys
guys
gotta get up there and make more videos.
exactly. If you guys can drop links in the Terminus chat, I know I can dig up the railcar video, but TJ, just spare me. And all right, last or penultimate segment here. Don't look, take a guess. Latest train on Amtrak.
I know this probably is going to be wrong, but in honor of the new train, I'm going to say the westbound Borealis.
There is not a Borealis on the system.
Well, yeah. Oh, see, good. Yeah, their train's perfectly on time.
Sorry, TJ.
I'm going to go with the westbound Chief.
Westbound Chief, okay.
Tried and true.
Let's hear it from the rest of yous.
I wouldn't know where to start.
Take a guess.
I want to guess Eastbound Builder.
Eastbound Empire Builder, okay.
I'm gonna say what? Oh, I was gonna say Empire Builder, but I don't know.
You can take the other one, or you can just double up on Jaders.
I will take the other one.
Okay,
sure.
so Eastbound and Westbound Builder, Westbound Chief, you said, TJ?
Yes.
And then Milky? Uh-oh, is Milky here? Milky, if you can hear us, we can't hear you. Oh, I heard it.
I've been here.
Okay.
I just don't have much to contribute to this.
Okay, well, what's your pick for latest train on Amtrak?
My pick for the latest train on Amtrak is Southbound Crescent, if there's one on the network.
Southbound Crescent, let me check. I see a northbound, I see a southbound. Okay, let's start with that. Southbound Crescent, 23 minutes late to Charlottesville, Virginia. That's, or at Charlottesville, Virginia. So definitely not the latest train on Amtrak.
Darn.
Westbound Chief, 21 minutes late at La Plata, Missouri, or 16 minutes late at Gallup, New Mexico. Definitely not the latest train on Amtrak. Let's look at the Empire Builder. The Empire Builder eastbound, 39 minutes late at Williston, North Dakota. Or, there are two more, 5 minutes late at Everett, Washington, on time at Bingen, Washington. And not the latest train on Amtrak. No, I mean Bingen. Bingen.
Okay.
It's right on the Oregon-Washington border.
Oh,
It's binging time.
That's my favorite part,
Bing-
when he said it's Bingen time
Bing
and
and
binged
chilling.
everywhere. Bing chilling? Anyway. The Empire Builder westbound, 9 minutes late at Winona, or 3 hours, 9 minutes late at Havre, Montana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not the latest train on Amtrak.
Uh-oh.
Let's go over some other runners-up. There's a 1 hour, 34-minute late Ethan Allen at Rutland. 2 hour and 35 minutes late Illini, which that's ridiculous. That route barely takes that long. It left Chicago late. A 4 hour and 20-minute Blaze It late Texas Eagle at McGregor, Texas. And finally, train number 2, the Sunset Limited to New Orleans. Last recorded at 54 minutes late, but now estimated 7 hours and 3 minutes late at Beaumont, Texas.
Ooh,
That's a lot of damage.
that ain't good.
Ain't good is right. What's the worst part is it made up like a full hour of delay before it made it into Houston, and then it's been stopped for 6 hours. So, yikes. Sucks
Damn.
to be. And they're so close, relatively speaking. I mean, the Sunset Limit is a long run, but they're so close to the end here. But anyway, all right. That'll wrap us up. Let's start with the terminations, of course. Cosmos.
Oh no. Feel free to play that video if you want. This is for
Steven at RAR at home. Sure.
I will just leave that in the cargoes for everybody.
You know what? Yeah, fair enough. They can go watch that awesome video themselves.
I'm just going to say looking forward to Colorado. I don't have anything really exciting. I usually take a little random piece of news that doesn't get covered otherwise, but I'm gonna just do this instead. It's simple. And it's true. TJ?
Well, the WWF channel is probably going to be my termination too, but yeah. Bye.
Bye. Okay.
I would like to add it was very fun to be here for this. And I'll see if I can show up again sometime.
You're welcome to give it a shot, and you're definitely welcome back. Hold on, let me put in these links here. I see the links. There's the WMNF channel. Who is next? It's either
me.
Jada or Milky. It's one of the two.
Me. So like right before the podcast started, I decided to pull up a map of, the Rio Grande Narrow Gauge and just start, just screwing around. I love looking at old train maps.
Foamer.
And I found this guy's album, among other albums on the internet. This guy's album of a few trips he made to the Rio Grande Narrow Gauge in the '60s.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff in here.
Okay, yeah, I'll absolutely share that.
Yeah, including K28's not on the Silverton branch, which is friggin'
What?
cool to see.
Wow.
But they have the funny diamond stacks and stuff.
Oh, cool.
That's great. I'm just putting the links in, and then we can wrap. I'm grabbing the second railcar video, the longer one,
The raw video.
the sights and sounds. All right. Yeah, that'll wrap us up for today. Thanks for coming along. I don't think there's anything else that we need to... I don't think there's anything else I'm forgetting. But, there's always next time. The next episode will be coming out in the middle of the Colorado trip. So we may or may not have a short, an abridged live version and then a full version as done by the Four Foamers. can neither confirm nor deny that will happen because I don't actually know at this point. Check us out by trading cards. Special thanks. I do the YouTube things, obviously. I don't ever say that, but I should. But thanks to all of you for hanging around tonight. Thanks to you, especially Cosmos, for jumping on as our guest. Thank you to the viewers that have made it this far. All 2 of you. I see you. Wes and Steve for running the local base. Without it, we would not have the trading cards. And, of course, who runs this camera? It's not Virtual Railfan.
The elbow rebar.
Iron Highway.
No, not the elbow
Steel-
bar.
The
Steel
bar.
Highway.
Talking about the bar virtual rail fan cam, or
But yeah, please don't send us a cease and desist. That'd be great. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. And in case of an emergency, call Conrail. Goodbye.
oh
No.
yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.